Welcome to another episode of Let Me Talk to You podcast, where I have a very, very special guest today. His name is Chason Granger Sr. He is the manager at Vitrum Smoke Shop here in Bridge City, but that isn't all he is. He is a wonderful person. Today we are going to talk about addiction, trauma, and just the things that make us happy today. It gives us our niche to be successful and happy and not try to dwell on the past. Your past doesn't make you exactly who you are. It molds you into who you are. And I think today you're going to have a lot of collective thoughts of how to get better and be happy. I know the world is in a weird place right now. So what we can do is come together, bring peace, and try to show each other that there is real love out there and there is real trust. So get ready to dive in to the next episode. Thank you.
Okay. Irene?
Got a $5 steak on a $20 grill. I can't help but feeling like the king of the hill. The grass is kinda high, but it's under control. And right now, I ain't in the mood to mow. I'm gonna thank the good Lord as the sun goes down for another day above the ground. Well, I ain't at the top, but I ain't at the bottom. Being in the middle for me ain't a problem. As a matter of fact, where I'm at really ain't too bad at all. I know I ain't got every little thing I want, but I got everything I need. And that's a pretty good place to be.
This is Chase. Is it Chason or is it Chase?
Real name's Chason.
Chason.
Go by Chase.
Chason Granger, okay. You're the manager of Vitrum.
Vitrum Smoke Shop here in town, here in Bridge City. Yes, sir.
Hit them up. They're the best. I don't
Absolutely.
Go. You get points. You get percentages off. It's a great place.
Come see us. Come see us.
The women that work there are
amazing. I hired two of the most amazing girls that I could have on a staff for sure, man.
yeah, and they give you candy when you walk out. So.
Oh yeah, free candy, free candy for everyone.
I feel kind of greedy every time I walk in there. Before I say hi, I'm fucking dying.
Yeah, people do it all the time. They're like, "Can I take more than one?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it, dude. Go ahead."
Yeah,
you know?
I've been fucking asking them to give me that what is it?
The
Rocktopus.
Yeah.
I ask him every time I go in.
Yeah, he's not for sale, bro. That's
One
like
day I'm gonna walk in there and they're
mascot.
gonna be like, you know what, dude?
It's like, fuck it, here, dude. You can have it.
I feel like because I said it right there. That's what I've already got like a designated spot for one day. But anyways, dude,
He would actually look good on your table. Man.
He would, man. Yeah. And I love wrestling. I got a WWE belt behind
Obviously.
me. You know,
I grew up watching it too, man. That was shit, dude. Me and my brothers, we had a lot of fun watching wrestling, dude. Playing wrestling, watching wrestling, hurting each other.
They talk about CTE. We probably got it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dude. Like, yeah, I remember one time, bro. I like put my younger brother in a chokehold. And, like, he didn't tap out, dude, so he passed out, and we were like freaking out. Me and my other brother, we're like slapping him in the face, like, wake up, like, what are you doing? And yeah, he woke up, and thank God, it was rough, dude.
That'd have been the worst for your parents to walk in. Hey, I told myself one time, my brother who's behind me, on that picture, he used to always pick me up on his shoulders. He was a lot bigger than me, and I told him, and he would drop me all the time. I told myself, I was like 13, I said, the next time this bitch drops me, I'm going to act like I died. Dude, I was on his shoulders, prepared for the worst, as usual, dude, and I fall. And I just acted like I passed out, dude. He ran, told my nanny. My nanny came in. They're both trying to, like, evaluate me, and I'm like,
I'm here.
Quit
I'm
fucking
awake.
picking me up, dude.
Did he get in trouble?
No, we just did worse. It just got worse.
It just got worse. It always does, bro.
Well, that was when Jackass was premiering, dude. Jackass had just came to the scenes. MTV was still the shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't playing ridiculousness all day, every day. You know, whatever that guy, whoever he owes, must be a lot because you don't watch anything else on MTV.
No.
But Jackass was the shit, dude, and it was bad for kids.
It was terrible, bro, because it showed us like we could just be wild jackasses.
Yeah, it hurt ourselves.
And hurt ourselves, and maybe one day we could be on TV doing it. You know?
Yeah, dude. Bam was like our
role model, bro.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
You know, Bam was wild. I actually got to see them. Did you get to see them when they came into Bridge
When
City?
they can't, no, but I heard about it. I know me and Andy passed through, because I always wanted to live in Bridge City. Whenever I'm from the north end of Beaumont, so whenever I got, as a young kid, when we would come this way, I loved, like if we came down here on Christmas time, they had the lights that kind of hang over into the road, and they would have the decorations. And I always told my nanny, I was like, if I ever have my life together, I want to move here.
Yeah,
and
it's a nice town. It's quiet.
It is.
It's a very quiet town.
Everything shuts down around 10 or so.
I think we're the latest place open in Bridge City. We stay open later than Walmart, so.
Really? I didn't know that. I think I know that. Actually, I do think I know that because y'all were even open on like Christmas Eve.
Every day, 365.
Yeah, man. So how did that get started? I'm gonna call you Chase.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
You're my buddy. But so how did that get started? Where did Vitrum come into place?
Into my life or into the town?
Into you, like.
So, I was in a real bad accident many years ago, and ended up, getting a little money from it, obviously, and bought a house and all this, and then money started running out, and it doesn't ever last long. So, so I needed a job. Hadn't worked in a year or so, and went into Vitrum, and I told the owner, I was like, look, dude, I was like, I'm a salesman, bro. Like, let me get in here, let me show you what's up. And he didn't believe me at first,
They never do.
Never do. And then, one thing led to another, and he was just like, whoa, okay. Like this dude knows his shit. He's not fucking around. And I told him, I was like, oh, I got you, bro. Like, let me increase your business. And that's what I've done. I learned a long time ago that I was kind of meant to be in sales. I had a guy named Marty.
Marty Hatton?
No, Marty Balsamo. He actually saw something in me I really didn't see in myself, and that I was meant to be a salesperson. I was working at another place here in town called Smart Insurance and Wireless, and I was selling cell phones and insurance. And Marty came in one day, and he was, working on his phone. He's a little cuckoo. So he was like, I was fixing his phone, and I told him I needed a vehicle. He told me he worked at Granger Chevrolet, and he was like, well, come see me. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll come down there. And so I did. I went down there, and while we're doing the car deal, at the time I was a cigarette smoker, and we were behind the building, and we were smoking a cigarette. And he was like, Chase, you should quit your job right now and come sell cars with me. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like I can't do that. I was like, I'm going to give up a guaranteed paycheck for something I might be good at. I was like, nah. And so, it was kind of in the back of my head for a long time. And then some crazy things happened at work. Girl came in, ended up taking my job. Don't know how that happened, but it happens, I guess.
You got that kitty, boy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. I don't know the whole story, but there was definitely something deeper happening,
Literally.
Literally. And so I called Marty up one day, and I was like, hey, dude, is that job offer still available? And he was like, absolutely. So,
yeah, dude.
So I went down to Granger Chevrolet, and he, introduced me to the owners, and, and they hired me, man. And it changed my life, if I'm being honest. It really shifted things in my life to broaden my horizons, to show me that I'm not just meant to be in a low end job. That I have the availability or the capability to do anything I really want to do. And
You're a positive look on everything. I mean, yeah, you can do anything you put your mind to. I can promise you that.
And so I did, man. I sold cars. I worked there for about 2 or 3 years, and it was really great, man. I became one of their number one salespeople. I never sold the most, but I made the most. Apparently I'm really good at talking. Who would have guessed that? But honestly, it's like all these jobs I've had throughout my life, whether it was in fast food, whether it was, no matter what frame of business it was in, they all revolved around me talking to people, and that's what I'm really good at. I'm really good at talking to people, man. So.
Yeah, dude, I love that about you. I mean, as you know, I came to you the other day, dude. I was praying all day. You know my beliefs.
Absolutely.
I was on top of a tank. I felt like that was the highest it was to heaven at that time. I was at work, and dude, I was going through it. You could see it. I know you could see it in my face when I walked in and asked for you. Because you just have that ability to see before somebody speaks. I think,
absolutely.
And I've noticed that about you. And bro, it was bad. I was contemplating bad things, and it's crazy because I hadn't gotten to that mind frame in a very long time.
Yeah.
And because I have everything going for me.
Of course.
There's no reason for me to be unhappy from what I'd seen myself say to myself from all the things that I've been through. I should be happy. But I think we all just have these things that, like, small things can happen that can trigger things from back in the past.
Absolutely.
And I had multiple of those things happen in a week. And I was just like, I didn't know if it was just a higher power talking to me and telling me that I need to cut people off. And I was always scared to say this prayer for my whole life. And it was because I was scared of losing people. I've lost so much in death, right? So it was like, I prayed. I said, look, God, just take whoever isn't supposed to be in my life out of my life. Don't hurt them. Just put them on a different path than me. I don't want to be on the same path with these people if they're not in my corner.
Absolutely.
You know, and I was crying, bro. It was before I came. It was the day I came and seen you.
Yeah.
I'm looking up, dude, and I'm like, I know it's not gonna happen overnight, but just please make it happen. I got to get the toxicity out of my life.
Yep.
And not even be bad. Most of it probably would have revolved around people that are supposed to be the closest to me, not my wife and kids, but I'm sure you're following what I'm picking up.
Absolutely,
you know?
man.
So, and it was just, and it's happened. I'm so much happier now. But that day you saved me in a way, bro, because I was not unhappy when I walked out of there.
Yeah.
I needed to have that conversation so bad. I damn near cried standing there talking to you because it was just, I needed you that day.
Absolutely.
And I don't
appreciate
even
that.
know you that well, but I just knew in my mind if I could get to you before you left the smoke shop, that I was going to be all right, you know, because my therapist was booked. But I just knew you were going to do the trick, man.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
And I was so happy and grateful for that. So I love you and thank you for that, man.
Love you too, brother.
For sure.
You know, honestly, working where I work, doing what I do, you know, let's say this, we've all been through a lot of things in our lives. You know, every one of us, whether it's, you know, abusive childhood, being molested as a child, you know, being raped, being this, being that, everyone has these things that have affected us, and they've helped mold us into the person that we are. And it's taken me a very long time. I mean, I've battled through a lot of things I'm sure we'll talk about today, that, you know, that I'm on top of now, and looking back, and I'm just like, wow, you know, I was able to overcome that. But to truly start it, you have to overcome the things from the past, whatever they are. You have to get through those, and you have to release those into the universe. You have to let that energy go. And another thing you were talking about is toxic people. It's taken me a long time. I mean, I'm 37 years old now, and it's taken me a long time to realize that toxic people, if they're in your life, then you're allowing that toxicity into you. Mm-hmm. Because toxicity goes from one person to another, and when someone's toxic, they want you to be toxic with them. They want you to have that negative energy that they have, because I don't care how positive you are, how you know, enlightened you are, when you get around negative people, that negativity will always trump that positivity. Yeah. And so, you know, in my shop, I make it a point to always be that positive light. Yeah. You know, when customers come in, they know that they can come in, they can talk to me about anything. I mean, I've had, you know, I like to call them my shop therapy sessions, because that's what they are.
They are, dude.
You know what I mean? They're therapy sessions. It helps me. It helps me to stay on the path that I believe I'm meant to be on. And it helps my customers and my friends and the people who come in and talk to me. I mean, I've helped people get over cheating boyfriends and girlfriends, and, you know, I've had a few people that have come in, and I've talked to them about my addictions and my past in that, and sobriety. And, you know, I have one customer that stands out. He's been sober now for 6 months, and it all started with a conversation in my smoke shop. So
that's amazing.
It was, man. It was, you know, he came back about 2 weeks after we had a really good conversation, and he thanked me. He was crying, and he said, Chase, he's like, bro, he was like, thank you. He was like, thank you for talking to me. He was like, you gave me the courage to speak to my parents. You gave me the courage to be able to let them know what was really happening in my life. And they helped me get into a clinic to be able to get medications to get off of these drugs and to stop using. And like I said, he's been clean for about 6 months now. So
that's good, man.
It's amazing.
Maybe one day we can bring him on or something.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, that's good, dude. And you do that for people in the most amazing way. And I gotta imagine that it's super
Oh, it is, dude.
gratifying
It's
you.
very gratifying. It's definitely, it warms my heart to see other people that that I can help or that I have helped.
Or when they flourish after a conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because you probably wish you had that.
It's so funny. I was just telling my girlfriend yesterday. I was like, I would love to meet me from someone else's perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I like to think that I radiate a lot of real positive light, positive energy.
Yeah.
I truly believe in the energies, excuse me, of the universe and things like that. And so it's like I like to radiate that. I like people when they walk in or they see me, they just, if they can see my aura, I like it to be this very white, very, very vivid aura of pureness, of kindness. And so yeah, it's a cool thing, man. I really enjoy it. It's really one of my favorite parts of working at the shop.
Makes you happy to go to work every day too.
It's like, bartenders are people's therapists. Well,
Yeah, my wife was mine before I met her.
I do the same thing. So you get it.
Yeah.
Bartenders are, people go and they get drunk and they sit there and they pour out their heart to a bartender, and the difference is that I just don't serve alcohol.
Yeah.
So
No, you serve. I think you serve more than just the materialistic things that you have in your shop. I think you
Absolutely.
serve some sort of communion, some sort of aura, some sort of camaraderie.
yeah.
You let people know that you're there, and it's just. I was talking to my aunt about you from Indiana, which probably sound like your number one fan, to be honest with you. But I was talking to her, and she was like, "Well, tell me about the guy." I said, "Well, it's kind of hard to explain." I said, I told my aunt, I said, the things that I battled, she didn't have to battle, right? She does not understand Texas to save her life. I mean, she just doesn't. When I go to Indiana, it's such a family thing, dude.
Yeah.
There's this family called the Riggs. Corey, Kirby, Keith, Randy. Their last name's Riggs. Man, when I come to town, it's shut down. They're coming. They're going to be there. We're going to spend time together. And I moved there in like 8th grade during Hurricane Rita. We went up there to evacuate just to spend time with family since we were going to be gone for a period of time. I decided to stay. I didn't even come back with my family. It took me forever to understand why I did that, because I was a kid. I had a girlfriend, obviously. We're in 8th grade. I had best friends. I had sports. I had all these things that were already going for me down here, and my brother and my nanny, and like, it was just like, why all of a sudden did I just want to go and not come back? And Michael Mettert, shout out, brother to me, dude, just like you are. I mean, he's such an amazing person. I've kept in contact with these dudes since I was in 8th grade. I came back to Texas for my freshman year. And to keep in touch that long, I'm 32 now.
It's a long time.
I don't even fucking talk to people 10 minutes down the road
Yeah. No.
regularly. I talk to these guys 3 or 4 times a week, So like, and sometimes I can get emotional about it because I want everybody to fucking experience that.
Yeah.
And now I'm a father. I want my kids to experience that. I'm not going to let, and my father's been great. He's been a great grandpa. I've let him, do his thing or whatever, and that's great. But all of it is still not as big as it is when you go to Indiana. My family there literally shut it down. They're in town. I'm going to go visit with them. We're going to get a family reunion going out of nowhere.
It's amazing.
It's a great feeling, dude. And it's like, because my family there, and I'm not talking bad about my family here, because life is so fast here. I understand why we don't spend a lot of time together, because we're always doing something. We can't stop. The economy's so expensive down here. We're all working. We're all moving in a different way. We don't have time. So when I go up there, it's beautiful, man. And I get that out of you, though, too. And I love it, dude, because you were just... I told my aunt just like this. I said, look, before he even comes on the podcast, all I can tell you about this guy is just the world needs him. And I absolutely meant that.
I appreciate that.
Like I got chills. I told her, I said, the world needs this guy. I said, he's got some things going on that could put everything to a halt. But I think that as positive as he is, and the people that are in his corner are going to make sure that he's all right.
Yeah, I believe it.
Because you at this point, you're going to have to rely on them.
Yeah, of course.
You're going to have to rely on these people to have your back.
Of course.
Even if something went the other way, you're going to have to rely on people to have your back. And I could show you countless letters, man, that I've wrote people that were in that situation, man, that I never gave up on. So I want you to know that on film. I'll never give up on you.
I appreciate that.
I've
bro.
only known you for probably a year or so, but dude, I got a lot of love for you, dude, and I talk about you to so many people, and they get jealous when I start talking about you. They're like, I got to meet this guy. I'm like, dude, that's on you. Ironically, you knew Tony.
Yeah, I know Tony very well.
You know, come on, dude.
Tony's a good guy.
If the stars didn't align, then I don't know what stars are.
Yeah.
You know, so
Big balls of gas in the sky.
yeah. So you're enjoying the smoke shop thing, man.
I do. I enjoy it. Absolutely.
With how good you are at doing that, and how good I know you're a good salesman, and that's wonderful.
It is.
That's going to bring you money. That's going to pay the bills. It's going to take care of your baby boy. Have you thought about possibly? And I could have asked you this off camera, but I wanted like an authentic answer. Me and you
No,
get it.
by all means.
Have you thought about going into getting your degree
So
in counseling?
honestly, dude, that's something that I have been thinking about a lot. Is getting my LCDC, counseling license. As someone who is an addict, I've been clean for 3 years now, or actually October 29th makes 3 years.
Shout out to that.
Thank you. So as someone who's been an addict for a lot of my life, if I'm being honest, it's something that really holds heavy to my heart. And when I helped that guy that day, when I talked to him, that was like, it was almost as if the universe was telling me, like, dude, this is where you're meant to be. Like talking to people at the shop is one thing, but to really do it, in a professional setting, I'd really like to work with the youth. I mean, I think that youth is where it starts. I mean, I know that's where my behaviors and my things started, because when you're a kid, you don't know how to process things. You don't know how to process those.
I don't think you should put yourself into a box with just that, though.
Yeah.
I think that you're valuable to people older than you.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, the thing is that if you can stop, I feel like if you can stop a lot of these addictions and bad behaviors and things in children or in young kids and teenagers and stuff, then you necessarily might not have to worry about them as adults. Now, I think that it's important for adults to get clean and sober. I think it's important for us all to live a healthy, clean life, because in reality, we're not guaranteed the next day. And I look back at my past, and if I would have died, I mean, who would have been there back then when I was in my addiction? Not many people. My family, that's it. But it's like now I have this circle of people who trust in me and believe in me and love me.
Yeah,
and,
unconditionally too.
Yeah, and they see the person that I am, and they see the person that I've become, being clean and being sober today. So
yeah, and you're not done becoming.
oh no, not at all, man. This is only the beginning of it.
Yeah.
I'm planning on flourishing a lot more. I would like to. That's my plan for sure.
You're going to, dude. You're on a great path. It's a little narrow path, and you're walking that bitch, dude.
Yep.
It's I'm super happy that you're in my life.
I appreciate.
You can
that.
hear it in my voice. I was so disgruntled whenever we had to cancel. I was like, God, dude, because I was so scared that I wasn't gonna be able to get you on.
Yeah.
And I was honestly, when it happened, whenever I had to cancel, and then I was worried about this weekend, I was like, if I can't get him on, I think I'm done.
No.
Really, dude. I'm going to be honest with you.
That would have been terrible. Don't do that.
It would have been terrible, but it's like I need people like you to come on here and tell your story, because that's the goal. I remember I talked to you about having a men's mental health meeting.
Of course.
I didn't do that because it's unrealistic. It's hard to get a bunch of people in a room. Work, babies.
It's also hard to get men to admit that they have mental health problems.
Yeah.
I mean, as men, we all think it's like, oh, fuck it, I'm okay, dude. I don't need to talk to anyone. I don't need help.
I'm gonna make it happen.
I can do this, and in reality, we're struggling.
Yeah.
We're all struggling, and it sucks. It really does. And not just men. I mean, all people. I mean,
Yeah.
women, men. It's hard for someone who's reached an adulthood and lived an entire lifetime a certain way for them to say, maybe I'm fucking up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe there is a better way. Maybe I do need to speak with someone. Maybe I should get some help. It's a scary thought to think like I need help. That's that's a hard thing to say.
It is.
It's a hard, and especially as a man, that's a hard thing to say, you know, because as men, we have the responsibility of our children, of our family, of our wives, of our girlfriends, of all of these things that just pile up on top of us, and you know, when we bear it all on our shoulders, and we bear it proudly.
Yeah.
You know, even if it buries us, even if we're you know, drowning in it, it's like, you know, we wear it proudly.
Yeah.
You know, you might come home at night and cry yourself to sleep. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to admit that you need help is like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I need help. Like,
That's like Kevin Gates said, and I'm not a big fan of his music. I think his older music was good. The newer stuff's kind of like not what I would listen to, but he said men suffer in silence.
Yep.
We do.
We do.
I'm not, and I hate to sound like sexist, though. I'm just for the men or whatever, but there's a lot of women resources in our area, but there's not a lot of men.
There's not.
You know, and I've seen, dude, my cousin, he offed himself. And had I been where I'm at today, I hold a lot of sadness behind that, because he loved me, dude. Like, he was my number one fan, and he was my family member, dude. He was my first cousin, and and then none of the signs were there, you know, and he did it in the most gruesome manner, bro. Like, to where you got to be gone before you do it. Like, and I've read a lot of books now that talk about suicide, and they all kind of say the same thing. Your eyes turn black. You're gone before you execute, you know. And so I try to listen to these doctors because if they are at that point, there's no way of getting them out unless you physically grab them. I was in Kentucky, dude. I got the call New Year's Day. Hey, Derek's gone, dude. And I haven't grieved that yet. I don't know how, because being a man of God, it's hard for me to look at it and say, hey, am I going to see him on the other side?
Yeah.
You know, like, the Bible says whenever you take your own life, it is the ultimate sin.
Yep.
Is there exceptions? You know, I don't know. It's hard. And I don't want to ask anybody either.
Right.
Because I don't want a terrible answer, and now I'm in shit again.
Right.
You know, so and there's been certain, like, you coming into my life was like a one of those moments. Like in the Bible, it talks about the burning bush. You was one of those moments for me, dude. Burning bush moments where it was like, holy shit, I just walked into somebody that gives a fuck.
I do, bro. Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And that's hard to find.
It is.
You know, but people are put in your life for a reason at the time they're meant to be there.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite things is like, you know, the relationship that I'm in. If we would have met each other many years ago, we would have never even looked at each other. There would have been no second glances. There would have been no conversations, because that person was not the person that sits in front of you. I mean, this person was in there, but he was blinded. He was, you know, he was high. So
Yeah.
you know, like, so it's
So when you was in your addiction, was it? I know we had talked about psilocybin, and we talked a lot about that recently, actually. But was that it? If you're comfortable talking about it, was that your addiction, or was it just?
Bro. No, so my drug of choice was methamphetamine.
Really?
Yeah, for many, many years, dude. I mean, I used very, very heavily, and I think the longest stint I ever did was like 3 or 4 years on it. God. Every single day, you know. Didn't eat, didn't sleep. You know, I was a typical tweaker. You know.
Was you weathered out? Could you tell that you were on it, or?
Oh yeah, you know, I thought I looked so good, man. I was like, oh, I'm skinny. I was like, I look so great, you know.
Yeah.
And then I go back and look at pictures of myself now, and I'm like, I look like a fucking a skeleton with skin on it.
It's like, why did I post this? Dude?
It's so terrible, bro. Like,
it's like going back to your 2012 memories on your Facebook.
They're ridiculous.
You're over here dropping the N-bomb and stuff, dude.
It's like, what is wrong with me back then? But yeah, that was my drug of choice. And, you know, and obviously, you know, I mean, I come from the era, you know, like I said, being 37, so I come from the era of all kinds of drug use. And, back when ecstasy was really big, and
Yeah,
the pill,
when it was ecstasy.
And the pill mill days. I mean, you name it, I did it. One thing I can honestly say is I never put anything in my veins, which I'm very proud of.
Good.
Because I just know myself, and with the addictive personality that I have, if I'd have done that, I might not have came back from that.
I hear you.
But this is I'm now in my longest stint of being sober, and
Do you
almost
still
3 years.
battle some days?
I'm gonna be honest, no, man. So you were talking about psilocybin. So psilocybin is, man, it's a hell of a thing. They're starting to really research it now, and you're starting to find it legal in certain places. In Colorado, the whole country of Canada, psilocybin's legal, and that's because they've learned and they're realizing what it can do for mental health. And so, I had been sober off of methamphetamine for I want to say about 2 years, a year or so before I ever really started microdosing magic mushrooms. And when I did, I mean, it did something to me. Like it changed a pivotal part in my brain. And I've done lots of extensive research into it. And the story I'm about to tell you is basically the same type of thing that anybody who's ever microdosed reports. Everyone. And that's the one thing that is amazing about it, is that there's not one drug in existence that everyone experiences the same thing.
Really?
No, I mean, there's not. Not that I know of anyways,
Well,
because
enlighten me,
everybody's
brother.
bodies are different. So psilocybin, when it's done in micro doses, well, let's go back just a little bit. So throughout our lives, as we were talking about earlier, we all have these bad things that happen to us, whether it's, the being beat, being this, being that, terrible breakups, whatever it is, whatever that trauma is, that trauma that we have inside of ourselves that we carry with us through our lives, right? So as all of these bad things happen, it breaks the impasses in your brain, right? It breaks the parts of your brain that connect your brain together. It breaks those apart, and you lose communication from parts of your brain. So one thing that psilocybin does when it's taken in microdoses is that it takes and it builds new neural pathways. So all of those, and it doesn't repair them necessarily, it just builds new ones. So all of those broken parts of your brain that aren't connected anymore, it allows them to be reconnected, and it allows your brain to be able to function at a higher level. So when I started doing it, it was, at first I didn't really notice it a whole lot, but within about 2 weeks, I started. I noticed that I no longer had any cravings or even thoughts about any drugs. So some of the things that psilocybin does is that it cures addiction, which is one of the big reasons why it's probably not legal, is because it cures addiction. It makes you don't want to do other drugs when you're using psilocybin. You don't want to. You don't want that. So what it did for me is I stopped smoking cigarettes. I stopped smoking weed, honestly. I stopped drinking sodas. I started going to bed better. I started eating healthier. I lost a lot of weight because, I was drinking sodas like they were water. You know what I mean? Now I might have one a day, and it's an amazing thing. But one of the biggest things is, like I said, it cures the addiction. It cures that want for any other drug, which is, to me, is an amazing thing. Because if it was made more readily available, if it was legalized, I think that it could really make a difference in the world, in our world, in the communities, in our country. I think it can make a huge difference. Honestly, I think it's really a wonderful drug. I mean, it's called a drug. I don't really look at it as a drug.
Well, it was given to us.
I mean, it was put here naturally, and you as a believer in Christ, I mean, in the Bible it does say all seed-bearing things, anything that's planted of this earth was given here for us. And if you really think back to all of the plants and things of the earth, there's a lot. I mean, not just psilocybin magic mushrooms. I mean, all mushrooms, chongas, rishis, turkey tails, lion's mane, all of those mushrooms are phenomenal mushrooms, and they all help us be better versions of ourselves. And none of that, you don't see that talked about in media. You don't see that
No.
talked about anywhere, but it's fact, I mean, Joe Rogan talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, he
truly,
does it,
He
and-
does it. I mean, but he also talks about the other non-hallucinogenic mushrooms. He talks about those, and they're just not mainstream, and it
Yeah,
should be. It
it
should be
should be.
mainstream. They help with headaches. They help with PMS stuff in ladies. It helps with all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And instead of that, doctors want to prescribe, opioids. They want to prescribe this. They want to prescribe all of these man-made medications when we have these natural things that the earth has given us.
Well, it's just a money thing, I would imagine.
I mean, of
We
course.
have the resources, but they don't want us to have it. I think that's why TikTok has become so worrisome to the government. It's
course.
it's a source of information. I've learned a lot through TikTok, and I always go back and reference TikTok. If I'm reading my Bible, which I usually read my Bible, oh man, an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, So, and I'm here lately. I've gotten into a point where if I'm going through something and I feel like I have a message that needs to be heard to somebody, if I see somebody going through some things, I just open it up. I read the 2 pages that I see, and I usually find what I need to talk to these people about. And it's insane. It makes you wonder, because there was a time where it was like 2017. It was right before I really got sober. And I say sober as in drugs,
Sure.
ecstasy, acid, smoking pot. That was my thing. And, dude, I had been through so much that I was like, man, I'm going to be honest, like, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I was, and I had an old man ask me about my religion. And I told him, I said, I don't not believe him, but I'm against him,
Okay.
And he was like, why? This old man, I just met him. And I'm like, dude, we don't have enough time for that, and he was like, no, I got time, and I was like, okay. So I told him, and he was like, so basically what you're telling me is you're mad at God.
Yep, that's what it sounds like.
You're mad at him. I was like, yeah, I'm pissed off at him. How about that? Yeah. And he was like, do me a favor. Just let's have breakfast every morning. I was like, okay. Why not? We're out working out of town. I see you every day. I don't hang out with nobody. Probably feeling some sort of depression, So, sure, let's go eat breakfast in the morning. No matter where, it doesn't matter. Let's get together every morning. And it changed my life. His name is Warren Swan. Shout out, dude. I love the guy. I can't get a hold of him right now. He's older. He switches phone numbers like he's a drug dealer or something, but he's not. But
Let me find out.
yeah, dude, straight up, man. But he was a wonderful dude. And, like, there's always been these key figures in my life. And it's 2024, and we're almost done with it. And I know I don't talk to you enough, but you've been one of those for me. So it's just like every time that I need somebody, they're placed.
In your life. Absolutely.
And had I known the first time I ever walked in Vitrum meeting you, I was going to have a fucking 30-minute conversation with you before I got, my wife always knows if I take 30, 45 minutes to get home where I stopped,
Yeah. It's common, man. It happens a lot in there.
Yeah, dude, that's like a church right there, bro.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is.
Some form of church. And then the girls are so sweet too, man. And you can tell when they ask you how you're doing that they really want to know how you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I think you've embodied that. I think that's spawns of you.
Yeah.
If you're not there, if something happens to you or anything, you've already created these people that are walking the same path as you, and I think you've done your job.
Yeah.
The job ain't done. You still got a lot to offer. But I feel like right now, before October 29th, and we'll talk more about that later on, you've done your job, dude. You've done everything that you can possibly do to make sure that you come out on the positive side of things. And I firmly believe that because I see it and I hear it, and then Tony and I had a conversation about an hour about you the other day, so, and he says the same things that I think. I obviously don't express a lot of emotions, but you bring that out of me, dude, and that's wonderful because there's only one other person that does that besides obviously my wife. She doesn't know everything. I don't tell her everything I'm thinking, and I should probably, but my therapist, I've been seeing him since I was 6. And now I'm to the point with this guy his name's Alan Apperson. I love him. Fuck, dude, do I love him. father figure all the way. He tells me every time before I walk out, I hope you know what I'm doing for you, you're doing for me too.
Yep.
And I see that, you know, and I know that he doesn't have that same relationship with people, but he watched me grow from a young boy, troubled young boy, to a man, you know. So for him to say that, and I don't really have to pay for much of it. I go in on his lunch break, we sit there, we talk, dude.
That's cool.
It's just like, and I think every man needs that. You need somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think you've talked to me a little bit. I think you opened up more the last time we hung out at Vitrum, and dude, you had me in my feels. I was really upset when I left. I was happy with my situation, but then I was like, fuck, dude, now we may not have this guy all the time, you know. So it scared me.
Yeah.
I think you could probably see it in my face when you told me. I probably went pale white.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, because man, I couldn't imagine you not being around.
Yeah.
It does nobody any good.
It doesn't. No.
You know, and I just wish that you know, the other end would understand that, like, you wasn't out here fucking just thugging it out, dude. You were helping people. The same thing you're doing right now, helping people, you know. And it's just, but now you're at a store and you're able to do everything that, you know, comes in that store. But it's just, it just pisses me off.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It pisses me off that something that God put on this earth to give you, you're in trouble for.
Yep.
Isn't that fucked up?
It is fucked up, man.
But you can go to Houston and get you a script of Somas and Lorsets and fucking Xanax and sell them and come back 2 weeks later and get the whole same script again from a different doctor. Come on, man. Get these people.
Well, it's the pharmaceuticals, man. That's what I was talking about earlier is, you know, that's the reason that things aren't legal in this country is because these pharmaceutical companies run so much.
They do.
It's just such a multi-billion-dollar industry.
And then the lobbyists around it.
Yep.
You can't fuck with them.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing you do. Trump said it on the actually on Theo Vaughn's podcast, which was crazy. I could not believe Theo was sitting in front of Trump, you know. But just listening to Trump, he's like, "Yeah, there's nothing you can do. There's literally nothing you can do.
Nope, you can't fight it.
No.
No.
You'll lose a lot from doing that. You know, it's just like cancer, bro. I get so mad talking about it. There's a fucking cure. It's out there. Why haven't they done it? You know what? Money.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. They need people to be sick, man.
Yeah.
They need people to be sick and to depend on the government, to depend on that.
Yeah.
You know, if everyone stopped depending on the government, then what power would they truly hold over people?
Facts. That's
I mean,
true.
You know, like, I mean, that's how they hold their power. That's how they instill their fear.
Yeah.
You know, is in that way. You know, they hold that thumb. And as long as they have that thumb to hold over people, then people will always be in that lined up fear stage. You know,
Yeah.
It's a scary situation. You know.
So tell me about yourself, Chase. Like, tell me where you grew up. Tell me how it all got started. Tell me some of the things that triggered you to become, obviously, a recovering addict now, but an addict at the time. I want your story to be heard because I feel like it's going to be medicine for other people. So I'm going to just really,
You see where you have your thing? You have it over your camera.
What?
The picture. Oh, no, you don't. I'm tripping.
Oh, no, that's right
I'm tripping.
No,
My bad, bro. I was looking at the picture and I'm like, wait.
No, it's right there.
Oh,
It
it's
was
right. I
early
see it.
there.
Oh,
I got my two kids right there because they're the reason I do this. Man.
Absolutely,
You
man.
know, so and they're so beautiful, dude.
Our kids are why we do everything, bro.
Yeah,
You know?
man.
But I mean, so as far as I go,
I'm gonna shut up over here, and I just want to hear it, dude. Lay it on me. If I start crying, just don't worry about me. I'm just over here chilling.
oh,
dude.
come on, it ain't that deep. I mean, it might be that deep. I don't know. But you know, I had a normal childhood. I mean, I grew up in the '90s, born in the '80s, so you know, we people from my generation were, you know, we grew up, you know, getting our asses beat and getting popped in the mouth and getting slapped and staying outside all day, and you know, parents didn't know where we were. You know, no one gave a shit. They were just like,
Yeah.
y'all have fun, bye. You know, don't come back
Go
in the
play
house.
the fucking street.
Yeah, bye. You know, not until the street lights came on. You know, so, but you know, I would say I had a pretty normal childhood when I was young, and then as I got older and was able to talk and form my own opinions, you know, that's like the biggest pivotal point and a kid, right? I mean,
Yeah.
as a father, you know what I mean. It's like when they're before that stage, it's like they're the sweetest things ever, and then they can like talk and make their own opinions, and then you're just like, back off, dude. Like, just stop.
Look.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, dude, just stop, you know. But, you know, it was good, man. It wasn't too bad, and then as I got older, you know, my mom, she married a man. My mom and my father separated when I was like 3, I want to say. So, my dad was a really bad alcoholic. You know, he was abusive. He was this. He was that. And so, due to that, my mom separated from him, and then, you know, she met another man, and they got married, and he took care of us for many years. And then, I don't know, man. I was about 11 years old. About 11, I got kicked out of my house. Now, before anyone judges my mom for this, I'll explain, you know, how I felt about it, how I feel about it now, and the reasons for it. But, you know, my stepfather and I had gotten into a physical altercation, and he gave my mom an ultimatum. He was like, dude, it's either him or me, you know. And at that time, you know, my mom had 2 young children, my half-brothers, my brothers, and then me, and then my older sister. And so, and she didn't really work at that time, so it was like, so what do I do? You know, I put myself in her shoes now, and I'm like, what would you do? You know, what do you do in that situation?
At 11?
Well, at 11, but as a mother, or as a father, or what have you, if you don't work, you have no way to take care of 3 other kids, 4 kids.
Yeah.
What do? Do you kick the provider out? You know?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? That's got to be one of the hardest decisions anyone could ever make in their life.
I would imagine, yeah.
You know, and that fucked me up at 11 years old. If I'm being honest, that was like the first thing that really happened. That was just like, whoa, like, this is stupid. This life sucks. Like,
So
this.
where'd you go?
So I went to my grandparents. My grandparents took me in, and they raised me, and they lived on a farm and shit. So we did a lot of farm work and stuff like that, and it was really cool. You know, got to see different lifestyle, which, I mean, I grew up with them also. So, you know, riding horses and wrestling cattle, not wrestling, but rustling cattle.
Yeah.
That was a normal thing, you know, that I did all the time. So, moving with them, it felt like home, you know. It felt very comfortable, a comfortable place to be. But it still didn't keep me from being a fuck up. You know, I mean, you know, I was the class clown, bro. I wanted to make people laugh. You know, I wanted to, you know, I wanted that attention. I was a attention seeker. I needed people's attention. That's what made me feel whole, and it's what made me feel good was other people's attention. And so I you know, I seeked it out any way that I could, whether it was, you know, doing dumb shit, breaking the law, whether it was, you know, this or that. But you know, at 11 years old, I want to say is when I first started smoking pot, and I'll never forget the day, you know, that it happened. You know, we took a cigarette and we put it inside of it and all this stuff, and I smoked it and I didn't feel anything, and I was like, well, this is stupid. You know, and I was like, what's going on here? And then the second time when I smoked is when I was like, you know, got stoned, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, you know, like, this is kind of cool. And so that's kind of where my, you know, addictions, I guess you could say, started. And then I did a lot of bad things after that. You know, I got in trouble at school a lot, dude. Like, I was in alternative school from like 5th grade, 6th grade, probably 7th grade, 8th grade,
Same,
9th
bro.
grade. Like, I was, you know, I didn't give a shit, dude.
I was an AP from 6th grade all the way to my senior year.
I was a straight A student, dude. I made straight A's, but I was a fuck up. You know, I didn't care.
Do you think it was an authority issue?
Oh, of course, dude.
Yeah.
Of course, man. Like,
my parents don't even fucking tell me what to do.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
are you going to tell me what to do?
No one's going to tell me what to do. Yeah. You know, like, you're not who the fuck are you? You're not going to tell me what to do, bro.
You make
like,
30 grand a year.
I mean, shit, even back then, they were probably making like 15, you know, back in the 90s, early 2000s. So, that, like, it's like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I don't, no. And so they didn't, you know, or they tried to, but I didn't allow it. And I got in a lot of trouble, man. I did a lot of dumbass things. I got put on probation when I was probably, I don't know, 12. Yeah, dude. I was bad, bro. And and then I got put on probation. I don't exactly remember what I did. It was probably fighting or something with my mom, or it was like I said. I grew up in a household of a lot of anger and violence, and
Yeah.
I watched all that and participated in all that, and it wasn't a great fucking place for a kid, if I'm being honest. Like I'm so like my son doesn't have to experience that now in his life, and I feel very blessed for that. But so, I was on probation, dude, and I just kept smoking weed, and I fell on drug tests one after the other, and I did that for, I don't know, 2 years, 2 or 3 years, and and then and then I got in trouble for stealing from Walmart, and I got locked up for that, and it was just a whirlwind of shit, bro. Like, if I'm being honest, that whole time period, it was just terrible. And then I want to say I was about 15 years old, 14 years old. Yeah, I was probably about 14, and I got locked up in this program out in New Waverly, Texas. And it was the thing. Honestly, it was what I needed. My mom had part in it. I was not handled like people couldn't handle me, bro. Like I didn't fucking listen to anyone, so nobody could handle me. And it was just like, we were in court one day, and they were like, we want to lock him up. Like, we want to send him to a program. We want to get him away from here. And they gave my mom the option. They were like, but we need your permission. And she was like, fuck it, send him. Like, he needs to go, and
How long did you spend down there?
I was there for about a year and a half. And my mom and I have talked about it since, like I held a lot of resentment against her for that,
Yeah, but
like after being kicked out at 11, 12 years old, to her being the one, now I say being the one that had me locked up, my decisions are the ones that had me locked up.
Yeah.
But she had that ultimate overpower, like, she could have said no, but if she'd have said no, I'd probably be in prison right now,
Yeah.
like, because I still would have been a major fuck up. And so I held lots of resentments towards her for that, like for many, many years, probably up until I was in my 20s, honestly, like early 20s. Like I was not a fan of my mom. I mean, now we're super, super tight. Like, she's like my best friend. So
Yeah, that's good.
I love her to death. Like, but but that comes with age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all those resentments and things that we hold on to as a child. Like, if we don't let that shit go, then it carries us forever, and
Yeah.
I'll let it go. So
I can relate more than you think. So.
I imagine. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people can. Like most of us can. So, but anyway, so I was locked up, and I was in this program, and I tell you what, man, being in places like that, like when you're not really like a hardened criminal, you're not like a really like you did something bad, but you're not a bad person, and you're locked up around bad people, like actually bad people that have like shot people and hurt people, and like just nasty people, that have done nasty things in their life. You tend to kind of go into that and mold into that, and when I was in there, man, I was looking around, and I was like, this isn't me. Like, I'm not like these kids. Like, this isn't who I'm meant to be. And like we got our GEDs when I was in there, so I got my GED at like 15, and I was valedictorian.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, bro, you should be proud of that, and I'm like, fuck that. I was valedictorian of a bunch of fucking idiots.
Rejects.
Like, yeah, dude. Like, like I'm doing trigonometry, algebra 2, like geometry, like advanced math and shit, and they're having to learn addition and subtraction and multiplication and shit, and I'm like, and that's the moment that I was like, this is not where I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, true criminals that get locked up, they're dumb. Like, because the really smart criminals don't fucking get caught.
Yeah.
like they don't get caught, bro.
True.
Like the people who get locked up and go to jail typically were pretty dumb. They did some dumb shit.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I graduated valedictorian of that, and then got my GED, got my driver's license while I was in there, And then
That probably was really good for you.
It was. I mean, I had independence. It gave me a lot of independence. And, when I got out, like I said, I was still holding resentment against my mom at the time. And so I did not go live with my mom. I believe her and my stepfather were separated at that time, I believe. I don't really remember when they separated, but and I could have, and I did later on in life. I don't remember exact ages, but I did off and on, just go stay with her for a little bit until shit got crazy.
What's her name?
Her name is Cindy.
Cindy. Hello, Cindy.
And so she, like I said, amazing mother, amazing woman.
Where is she from?
Louisiana, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like her family originates in Louisiana.
Riding them gators and eating gumbo, baby.
Dude, she's coon ass as it gets, bro. Like when she eats crawfish, dude, she sticks her finger in there and digs all the guts out. And
it's like crawfish molestation, dude. I love it.
She's fucking them up, bro. Like she don't fuck around.
I suck the heads and everything, bro.
She like fingers the head and and licks all of it off, bro. Gang, bro. Like she's a gangster, bro. She's like a crawfish gangster, bro. Like they see her coming.
We need to get her over, dude. We need to.
She's a character, bro.
I'll have a crawfish boil next summer.
She's a character,
we'll
bro.
Get her to come through.
She's so fun. But so I get out of jail. I get out of lockup as a minor, as a juvenile. Like I said, with my license, with my GED.
You're set up.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna get a job. 15 years old. I got a job. You know what? I'll lie. I did move out. And when I got out of jail, I was living with my mom. And her and my stepfather, they were definitely separated at that time. So I did move in with my mom because she had given me a pickup truck. It was my very first vehicle at 15 years old, bro. I had a vehicle. It was like a 1989 Dodge Dakota,
Hell yeah.
Like standard transmission, and I love that truck until I totaled that fucker out, man.
We totaled out always the best ones, dude.
Like, total, dude. It was bad, bro. It was so bad. I'll get to that story in a minute. And so, like I said, I started doing that. I started working at Wendy's in Orange. It was my very first job. It's actually where I got the nickname Chase, believe it or not.
Where the one right there on the corner?
In front of Walmart.
Hell yeah, dude. I love Wendy's,
yeah, bro. They're actually doing shout out to Wendy's, but the Krabby Patties. They're doing a SpongeBob collaboration starting Tuesday of this week, where you get like the special Frosty that's like a pineapple under the sea Frosty, and then like an actual Krabby Patty with Krabby Patty sauce and shit. Yeah,
no shit.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
My son's super excited.
Bro,
he loves SpongeBob.
I gotta tell you this now since you said that.
What?
Did you see that new research? That's a word. Research where they said that
It's definitely a word.
SpongeBob, that's a real thing. Underneath the sea, there's like it was a civilization at one point, and the waters came to. Hey, I don't know. This is a rabbit hole you can go down. Look it up. SpongeBob, the real thing. Underwater civilization. It'll pop up.
No
I
way.
promise. Yes, dude.
I gotta go look this up.
Bro, it'll blow your fucking mind. You're like, what? And it shows like statues underneath the ground, like where obviously people used to do shit.
That's wild.
It is. It's like Atlantis.
So it's like people though. It's not like fucking like talking sponges
Dude,
and starfishes.
they said it was, dude. But I'm gonna
squirrels living underneath.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it's probably people.
Okay.
And then it's been exaggerated, but
so that's like kind of what you're saying is where they got the idea of SpongeBob is because of these underwater ancient civilizations, and they were like, who could have lived there? SpongeBob.
Kind of like the Simpsons, dude.
Yeah.
They predict everything.
Everything, bro. That's wild. Yeah, that's.
You know who's starting to do it more too?
Who's that?
South Park.
Yeah, dude. South Park's they've been getting it pretty good, man.
Around.
Yeah.
They've been coming around, dude. I'm just like, wow, bro. Like, they just tell us everything, and then it happens.
Yeah.
I'm so worried about this election, too, dude. Like, I've been putting a lot of thought into it. I just don't know what's going to happen. I want my prices to go down. I don't know if they ever will.
I don't think they ever will, bro. I don't think it matters who gets in office, honestly.
Oh, God, we'll see, man.
Yeah, I don't really think it matters. But, I don't really, I'm going to be honest, I don't do a whole lot of political stuff. It's not really my forte. Ever since I became a convicted felon,
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
really.
you're allowed to vote now.
Yeah, I know, because I've served my time and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, to do that, though, it's like I'd have to I'd have to really look into shit, and
You're good at that.
I am good at that. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, politics are just so, ugh. There's just so much to it, and
It's grimy.
It's grimy, bro. It's just it's nasty. It's dirty. It's like, you hear things about one party, you hear things about the other party, and then like neither one of the parties really sound worth the fuck.
You know who sounded good?
Who?
Harris, her vice president, and then his name's Walls, and then J.D. Vance, which is Trump's vice president.
Yeah.
They did a debate.
Yeah.
Bro.
Was it good?
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Like
I was like,
don't know.
look at this. We got two composed Americans getting along,
Yeah.
actually agreeing with each other on some things, disagreeing on little things. I'm like, what the fuck happened? We have Trump and Kamala, and they're like, well, they're eating the dogs. And
Fucking Trump.
Kamala's like, where's the fucking teleprompter? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's like, hold on, let me take my earring out that has a microphone in it where they're telling me what to
dude.
say.
Did you see where I posted that?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That
I got
shit's
heat
wild.
for that.
I bet
bro.
you did.
Dude, I had like the views started getting to like 10,000 something, and they fucking
They wiped it.
wiped it,
Yeah.
bro. I was onto something. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Because I pieced together the Obama where he said that he wishes that he could just have somebody in office, and he was just peeking behind the curtains and just telling them what to say.
Yeah.
And then I put in the microphone thing with Kamala, and I guess they were like, we either need to kill this guy or delete his TikTok, one or the other.
Oh, they deleted off of TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
They
Like,
fucking dude. I'm-
TikTok is like the fucking free media place. Like,
Oh, yeah,
like you
dude.
can see some shit on TikTok, bro.
What,
Like,
dude?
like-
But you can't see nothing about Democrats.
no, nothing about Democrats. But you could see people getting bombed and shit, and
Yeah,
like
it's
like
crazy.
murdered and killed.
It's
But-
crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, man. And I haven't been on TikTok in a long time. Like,
It's dude. It's gotten crazy, dude.
like social media is. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of think it's like the epitome of human. It's what most people waste their day on. Everyone wastes their time on social media, and I used to. I'm gonna be honest. I used to, but it seems to me now that it's like I don't have time. Like, I might scroll Facebook every once in a while, like, and look at memes. That's about
Yeah.
all I look at. Or read people's stories every once in a while. But it's like I have my own life to focus on.
Yeah.
And all that shit is a distraction. It's to distract you from what's really going on in the world or what's really going on in your life.
Yeah.
And since I've had this healthy mind, it's like I don't really need the distraction anymore.
No, man.
My mind, I don't have that racing mind. Like, a lot of people have a racing mind where their mind
Yeah.
always is talking.
Well, a lot of people look at all the. Everybody posts the happy moments. So you got these
course.
kids that see these other kids like that are TikTok influencers that have like Lamborghinis, and these kids expect that too.
Yeah.
And it's honestly sad.
You
It's
gonna,
honestly
you gonna
sad.
buy me a Lamborghini?
I wish, dude. Hey, if this pops up, dude, we'll both have one. Let's let this thing pop off.
Yeah,
and
let's
then
get
we'll-
it. Come on, guys, let's get it. Let's all get Lambos.
Yeah, but anyways,
He's
so
paying for it.
where was we? We was
So I was 15.
15.
Roughly, right? 15, 16 years old. And like I said, wasn't in school, so I had my first vehicle. And, of course, as soon as I got out of that place, I went right back to smoking weed. Like, weed was like my thing. It was like the thing that, like, it made me feel comfortable. It made me feel normal. It made me feel less anxious. And, that was back when old Reggie was the thing. The weed nowadays is so strong. It just gives people anxiety. It's ridiculous.
Looking at it, you're like,
What the fuck?
is that, dude?
It's fucking wild. But, and so...
Banana cream nut butter.
Yeah, dude, it's like fucking a million strains, and they all make you feel different.
Yeah,
And
it's
seed-
got hair growing on it. You're like, what the
the
fuck
fuck?
is this?
It's like, where are the
dude?
seeds at, dude?
Did you make this in a fucking fish tank or something? Like,
Probably. I mean, they might have. So I started working at Wendy's, bro, and I caught the name Chase, right? Because all of my coworkers, they couldn't say my name. Which, I mean, granted, going through school, no one could say my name either. My name's Chason, and everyone called me Chason, which is technically the proper pronunciation, right? Because it's French. But
Yeah.
But Chason or Chasin, or Chason, that was it, Chason.
Yeah.
And so the people at work couldn't say it, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I was like, you guys just call me Chase. So, I'm 37 now. I was 15, so I've been Chase for 22 years.
Yeah.
I even have my mom calling me Chase now. Like, she fucking refused, bro, for my whole life. She's like, I'm not fucking calling you Chase. Your name's not Chase. Your name is Chason. And now that I have a junior, my son is a junior, so she calls him Chason, and she'll call me Chase. I'm thinking, fuck yeah.
Dude, she got her,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, I got her, bro. I locked her in, so it's Chase it is. But unless she's mad at me, then I'll still get Chason.
But the middle name will come with it, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have the same name. He's a junior, my son, so
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that she's talking to him. I'm just like, she's talking to you, dude. It's not me, bro. I'm like, you better go see what CC wants, bro. And so, like I said, I was working at Wendy's, and and that's where, I'm going to be honest, dude, that's where the, like, real drugs started coming to my life, is when I was 15 years old. That's when I started dabbling around with, like, ecstasy, and that was back in what they called the pill mill days, which you were talking about earlier, where people would go to Houston and doctor shop, where they'd go from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor.
I've been to plenty of those doctor's appointments with my parents.
Yeah. So, I was a young kid, man. I was a young kid, and I was partying like an adult. I was partying with adults, and so, I was doing ecstasy so much back then. It was like every weekend, and it was wild, bro. It was a wild time of life. I think the first time I did cocaine was back then too, and that's actually when I started smoking cigarettes too. So it was like 15, 16 years old was one of the most, after I got out of trouble, right?
Yeah.
But I did it smartly, I was very smart about it, I was like, I'm not going to do things to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Although buying drugs will get you in trouble, okay? So
Yeah.
don't buy drugs.
Just don't do them.
Don't buy drugs, don't sell drugs. They will get you in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I was doing lots of things, bro, lots of drugs, lots of partying, just living life, man, living life. And
being that young, though, do you feel like that you was preyed on?
In what way?
Like, just a young guy that could potentially be like a crash dummy for somebody as an adult. Did you feel like you were being taken advantage of?
I don't think so. The people who I was using with back then, or that at that time I was living with my mom, and then I eventually ended up moving in with some friends and their parents, and they all used too. So we all like got high together, drinking, whatever, and then like I said, I started smoking cigarettes then. But no, I never really felt like anyone was taking advantage of me. Like, these people, they kind of took me in as like one of their kids.
That's good, man.
And so I lived with them for probably about 2 years, man, until I was probably about 17 or so. And then I was living with a buddy of mine's cousin, and he scared me one night, bro. Like, so I'm definitely like very straight man, so he apparently was rolling on ecstasy, and he comes out of his bedroom where I was staying, and I had like some ladies over and shit, and like we were in there doing blow and shit, just fucking getting down. And he's like, he comes out of his room in these fishnet fucking shirt and like a skirt and shit, with his hair all made up, makeup on and shit. And I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? And he's like, the guys on the internet love this. And I was like,
what the fuck?
And I looked at this girl. Okay, now this girl, all right, this chick, I didn't fucking know her, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I didn't fucking know her. I didn't know her from Adam, bro. Like, it was like, okay, I was looking at her. I was like, hey, can I come live with you? And she's like, yeah. Okay. I was like, fuck yeah. And so I did. I went and lived with this chick, right? And little did I know at the time that, she had four kids. And I became a stepdad, dude, at 18 years old.
So you and her were together?
Yeah, we ended up dating, and I raised 4 kids for about 6 years.
Oh yeah, man, that's commendable.
Like, the youngest, they were all girls, and I raised, the youngest was, dude, she was like 4 months old. She was a baby, 3 months old, and it was like 3 months, a year, or a year and a half, or 2 years, and then it was like a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. So, all girls, real young, dads weren't in their lives, whatever, so.
They usually ain't.
They usually aren't. There's a lot of dads that aren't, and it's sad. It really is. And so, we started I stayed with them, and I raised these girls and got my first plant job, dude. And I started.
What was you doing in the plant?
Well, of course, I started out as a helper, and
Yeah.
fuck that place, dude.
Scalpel building?
No, fuck no. Just a helper. I was working for Connex, and I'll never
Connex,
forget.
Aren't they?
Oh, they're gone now. Yeah, they don't
I
exist.
remember. Wasn't that groundwork? They
Yeah,
did a lot of,
groundwork,
yeah.
pipeline,
Yeah.
doing the pipes, running the pipes, and shit like that. But yeah, it was all groundwork.
This wasn't
stuff.
for you.
Well, I did it for a while. Because fuck, at that time, I needed to be able to provide for 4 kids.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
so
dude.
at 18 years old, I wasn't like. I wouldn't say necessarily I wasn't in any addiction at the time. I was pretty much clean. You know what I mean? I had never tried meth yet or anything like that, and so I was clean. I smoked weed, and then when I started working the plants, I didn't smoke weed. So
You were California clean.
yeah, I like that. There you go. Let's say that California clean. And so I'm working out there. I'll never forget the first day I went on my job site. First day, 18 years old, on the job site. And I get out there, and the guy's like, the foreman, he's like, all right, dude, so I'm going to drop you off over here on this site, and then you're going to do X, Y, Z. And I was like, all right, bet. I got you, bro.
Yeah.
So I did. He did. He dropped me off, dude. He dropped me off at this fucking job site, and we're sitting, and I get the job done. I'm like, all right, fuck it, boom. I get the job done. And then I sat down on a piece of concrete, and I sat down, and I guess I fucking fell asleep. I was not used to being up that early
Yeah.
and working like that. Like you had to be there at fucking like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
It was
dude.
like it was like I wasn't used to that. And so this motherfucker comes up, dude, and he hits me on the head with his hard hat. Hits my heart. They call it turtle fucking, right?
Yeah, dude, that pisses me.
Wham, dude, and he hits me in the head, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, what the fuck? And he's screaming in my fucking face, bro. And he's just like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, first off, bro, you're not going to speak to me that way. He was like, I'll fucking talk to you however the fuck you want. I said, no, the fuck you won't. He was like, dude, I'll take you to the gate. I said, take me to the motherfucking gate then, bro. And he did. I got my tools. I got in the back of his truck, and he took me to the fucking gate.
Yeah.
And he ROF'd me. He gave me a fucking pink slip.
Reduction of force.
Yeah, reduction of force. So, and it was so funny is that as soon as that day, I got a phone call from Connex, and they were like, hey, we heard about what happened on the job. We got another crew for you to go out on. You can start tomorrow. So I went back to the same plant, same job site, different lead man. And I did good after that, like people didn't disrespect me, because when you're young, people, they fuck with people on the
Yeah,
plants,
they do.
all the fucking buckets of steam and fucking sky hooks and all this
Oh, yeah,
shit
dude.
that
I've told a guy to go get a left-handed paintbrush before.
Exactly,
you know
bro.
what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so, they fucked with me like that, but nobody was disrespectful or rude or anything like that. And so I did that for a long time, for a while. I'd say probably about 2 or 3 years. And I started as a helper, worked my way up to like a bolt-up pipe fitter, boiler maker.
Yeah.
I had all the tools and everything, had the knowledge.
Yeah.
And I did that for a while. And then, I don't know, I just got tired of it. Honestly, I just got tired of it, bro, and that's when I started doing. I want to say that's when I started doing the cell phone thing, and doing that, and I did that for quite a while, and I did all right, I did all right. I didn't make a whole lot doing the cell phone thing, but me and that girl, we were together for, like I said, about 6 years, and I took care of those girls, and unfortunately, after we separated, I wasn't allowed to be in their life anymore, and that was kind of hard.
That hurts.
That was rough. Because honestly, to be a step parent is a big responsibility.
It is. You chose to do that.
You're choosing to be a father or a mother to someone else's kids. Even if they don't have full custody or whatever, if they're only there part of the time, you're still choosing that life, and to have them taken from you is it's kind of shitty and not really fair. It wasn't fair for me. It wasn't fair for those girls. And
Was it? And I don't mean to pry,
No, you're
but so I was in kind of the same situation where I knew that I could not show this child how to treat his mother or treat women. Period. I hated her. She had cheated on me. There was so much disgust. not disgust about, but it was disgusting. I was disgusted by so many things of this woman, and I don't want to talk bad about her
No, by
too
any means.
much, because people just do what people do, and I wasn't perfect either. But there's some things I could have did differently. But do you think that it was good because it got to a point also where you wasn't able to show those kids as well how to treat their mother? Or
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
it turned toxic.
I think that
honestly.
brings a lot of value. I think that it takes a man to understand that.
It did. There was definitely toxicity in there. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, growing up, all I saw were toxic relationships. I mean, I didn't know what a healthy
You
relationship
probably
was.
cling to that for a long time too.
My whole fucking life, bro. Like, the relationship that I'm in now is I'm gonna be honest, the only, like, I'll lie. I had a girlfriend before, and it was a healthy relationship, a very clean breakup. There was no fuck yous. There was no name calling. It was just we came to the decision that it was what was best, and it was clean. And that was the first time I ever experienced that. And the girl I'm with now is just, it's the same way. It's just very clean. There's no hatred, there's no anger, there's no malice, there's no fighting, there's no arguing, there's none of that shit, bro. It's peace. It's amazing, really.
So y'all are doing well.
Oh, absolutely. But it's amazing. It's when you can find someone like that, it's
the
amazing.
best feeling in the world.
It is. It really is, dude.
That's how I
Like,
felt when I met Sabrina.
it's an amazing feeling, and there's no, like I said, dude, to go from only knowing toxicity in relationships to having total peace is just, it's mind blowing. It almost seems surreal or not real sometimes. Is that really, cause you
Makes you feel like if you deserve it too. You go
Well,
through that?
I feel that I do, bro. Like, I feel that I deserve it. Like, with the changes that I've made in my life and the person that I've become today, it only makes sense that I would have someone that matches that energy.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, whatever energy you put out in the world is the same energy you attract. And so,
Oh wow, powerful. Yes.
and so when you're putting all this negative energy out there and you're a negative person or you're a nasty person, like, I wasn't necessarily a bad person, but
Maybe bad traits.
yeah, bad traits. Like, I was taking the things that I was seen as a child and portraying that because that was what I knew a relationship to be. And like I said, it wasn't until my son's mother and I separated that I really knew that I had to change some shit about myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's when it was like, I can't keep living life like this. Like, I've got to be a better man. I've got to be a better person. I've got to be what my son deserves, because, my son, he didn't grow up in the best household. I mean, he saw a lot of shit he shouldn't have seen. He saw a lot of anger. He saw a lot of hatred. He saw a lot of, there was violence. There was this, there was that, drug use. I mean, he never really saw the drug use, but
He knew.
but he saw the after effects of it. I'll never forget a lot of those things, and
You're making up for it.
I like to think so.
You are. You don't have to think it, bro. You are. I see it. So
I like to think so.
give yourself some credit for that because
Thank
you
you.
deserve it.
I appreciate that, and but back to that, back then, back to addiction and shit. So the first time that I tried methamphetamine, I was 18 years old, and I liked it. If I'm being honest, I liked it, but I didn't really get addicted to it then. I didn't really get addicted to it, and I went many years without doing any drugs. I mean, I might have dabbled with a little bit of cocaine here and there, but many years I went without doing anything, I'm just smoking weed or whatever. And so I want to say after that relationship, I was sober, I was single for quite a few years until I met CJ's mom, and let's see, how old was I? She was 21. I was 27, and so I was with that other girl until I was like 24. So it was about 3 years, But by that time I was a full blown drug addict. Like, when I met her, I was a full blown addict. I used every single day. and she didn't know about it when I met her. And then, you know, I hate to say it, but, you know, I kind of drug her down into that shit too. You know,
Yeah.
I drug her down in that path. You know, not saying she would have never went down it by herself, but who knows? You know,
Yeah.
life is life, and but I did, and then you know, we had a lot of fun though. Shit, we did a lot of wild, crazy things. Went to raves, went to parties, fucking just lived life. Like we were
Yeah.
just living life to the fullest, and then and she got pregnant, you know, and
It's time to shape up.
you know, and she sobered up. I was very proud of her. She quit immediately. She was like, boom, 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 and I didn't, you know. If I didn't, I continued to use, and then one day, she actually gave me an ultimatum. She was like, look, it's your drugs and your job, or it's your kid, you know. And the only thing I've ever wanted in my life was to be a father, because I mean, my father was, you know, he was an alcoholic. He wasn't a very nice guy. He was abusive. He had his moments where he was the most amazing man ever, you know, when he was sober. And but he was a really, really rough, tough country boy, coon ass alcoholic.
Tough love.
Very, very, very tough love, man. And you know, and you know, he passed, I want to say in 2011 is when my father passed, from alcoholism, actually, believe it or not. He drank himself to death, you know, was drinking too much, and he fell and hit his head on the concrete so many times, he ended up dying of a hematoma to the brain. It was rough, you know, but I'm going to be honest, you know, I'm going to talk about death a little bit in this, but I don't really look at that day when my dad died, like, it was the first person in my life to die, like family member, you know, first close person to die. And I really didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, typically, you know, people die, we get sad, we cry, we mourn, we weep, and then a lot of people, they carry that shit with them, and then they carry that death forever. And I knew that I didn't want to do that. You know, because, you know, I knew my dad wouldn't want me to do that. He wouldn't want me to mourn over him like that. He wouldn't want me to be sad all the time, and you know. And so when he died, it kind of showed me, I don't know, man. It kind of showed me that death is kind of a peaceful thing. You know, death is a release. You know, death is a way to stop being in pain. You know, because to live is to be in pain.
Yeah.
You know, we all have pain. We all have hurt. We all have all of these things that have happened in our life. You know, what I've already spoken about. And, you know, when you die, you're not in that pain anymore. If you're an addict, you're not an addict anymore. You're not addicted to drugs. You're not living your life for drugs anymore. You know, you don't have to work anymore. You don't have to worry about bills and the struggle of life and family and all of that shit. You know, they don't teach you all that shit when you're in school. They don't tell you how rough and tough and hard life really fucking is, because it is. Life is hard.
It is.
You know, and it's even harder for a drug addict, you know. It is, you know, because not only do you have all of these things and responsibilities, you have this addiction that fucking wants you, and it wants all of you. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to balance.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to balance a family and an addiction at the same time.
It is.
It's so hard. But yeah, so after he passed, you know, it kind of showed me that death is release. It showed me that, you know, he was at peace. He wasn't suffering anymore. You know, he was a really, really bad alcoholic, man. I mean, he probably had like 15, 20 DWIs, you know, like.
I'm surprised he went in prison.
Well, he had been to prison twice, actually, and so I was living with him for a while, when I was like 18, 19, like when I had that girl and her kids. We were living in his house for a while, and he got a girlfriend, okay? So let me back up. So the last time he was in prison, when he got out, he was like, I'm never drinking again. I was like, yeah, fucking right. Like, yeah, fucking right. Okay. And then later down the road, he was like, okay, well, I'm going to drink. And he called me Bubba. He's like, okay, Bubba, I'm going to drink, but I'm not ever going to drink and drive again. He's like, I'm just going to drink at home. I was like, okay, I mean, it's your right, you know.
Yeah.
You're a fucking adult. Do what you want to do. And so he did. And he did really, really good, man, for a few years. And then he gets a girlfriend. And we already know what happens, you know.
Yeah.
When you get a girlfriend, it's like, oh, fuck, I want to go see my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And so one night, one day he got fucking plastered, bro. He was so trashed. And he snuck out, right? Because I was, like, monitoring his alcohol intake. Like, I would keep his keys and hide them from him and shit, so he could, because he kept wanting to leave. Well, one day he fucking snuck out, right? And the one day he snuck out, bro, he hit a Mad Mother right here in Bridge City, right in front of Whataburger. He rear-ended her going 55 miles an hour. And when they opened his door to get him out of the truck, he just poured out and smashed the concrete. And that was the beginning of the end for my dad, because he knew he was going to prison for the rest of his life. You know, he was on his third strike. So.
Did he kill her?
No, she did not get hurt. Thankfully, nobody was injured. There was someone that was injured a few times in some of his DWIs, but he injured himself a lot. I mean, it was sad. It was a sad thing, you know. So, but he knew at that time. He knew that it was over. Like, he knew that he was going to go back to prison, and he was going to die in prison. And so he made the decision just to drink himself to death, you know. And I think about it, and I'm like, do you blame him? You know, you know, like, who the fuck wants to spend the rest of their life in prison?
Yeah.
You know, like,
psychopaths.
Because, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure, because he come from the era in prison where there were still lots of rapes and things like that going on and stuff. And so I'm pretty sure something happened to him. He would never talk about it, but he would be real skittish. He was real skittish when he first got out. And so I think something happened to him in there, and he was abused in some way, shape, or form. And so he didn't want to go take part in that again. And I get it, you know, and so I can't be mad at him. I can't be upset with him. You know, it sucks. He put himself in that situation, but, you know, he's not hurting anymore, and he's not hurting anyone else anymore either, you know. So, you know.
So after your dad passed, that was kind of the first person you lost, and then so you were about what, 27, 28?
No, so in 2011, that was what, 14 years ago. I was about 23.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
And you were still going through addiction. You had just you were
So
having
at that time, no, I was not. Like I said, at that time I wasn't using. It wasn't until 2000. I want to say it was 2012, 2013 is when I found methamphetamine, and that's when I found it, and it really became like a cornerstone of my life, honestly. And dude, it was bad. It was a very wild time of my life. It was a very sad time of my life, you know, because, you know, being an addict, being deep off in an addiction, dude, it just isolates you, you know, like, especially methamphetamine. I mean, I spent majority of my time stuck in the bathroom. Like, I would just sit on the toilet for fucking 10 hours.
Just getting high,
you know, and it sucks, you know. And then once I met my son's mom, you know, I hid it from her. Until I didn't, you know. And then, and that was just a whirlwind of shit too, you know. There were a lot of good times, but because of the drugs, dude, like, I'm gonna be honest, dude, like, it altered me. It made me a different person. I wasn't the person that sits in front of you today. Like, I was very wiry. I was very angry. I was, you know, there had been no self-work any point in my life. I didn't need help. Remember we talked about that earlier. You know, I was one of those. I didn't need fucking help. You tell me I need.
Don't offer it either.
You tell me I need help. Fuck you. You know, like, who are you? You don't fucking know me. You know, and so I didn't seek any help. I didn't think I needed help. You know, and then
for the viewers, like, you need help.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. I needed help. Absolutely, dude. I did need help. and I just didn't see it because I was so dark and off in that dark path.
You're probably ashamed a little bit as well, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was not proud of the fact that I used and that I did all of that. It was a very shameful thing. I felt I didn't talk about it with people, you know. You go, because you tell people you're a fucking meth addict, and they are like, what?
They'll shun you immediately.
Immediately, bro. Like, people push you away.
My mom was a meth addict for a long time, so yeah.
So you get it, you know.
She died in front of me.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. I'm going to let you ask me questions, though, whenever you're done, so.
Okay.
I don't usually do that because I don't want to hear shit about me. I want to hear about you, but I know that this conversation needs to be heard on both sides. So,
Absolutely.
I think that we can get to that whenever you're ready.
But you know, so I lived with that addiction for a long time, man. I carried the weight of it, and you know, and I did that for a long time. Like, I'm thinking, my son was born in 2015, and you know, and I'm pretty sure I used all the way up until when he was born, and then I stopped. I did eventually stop using for a little while. For probably a year or two, and then I was on probation actually at the time for something that had happened between my ex and I, physical altercation, and so I was on probation and I was using, and then one day, one of her friends needed a ride somewhere, and he needed a ride somewhere, and he was like, there's some people in my house, I just need to get them out, whatever. And I went out after curfew, and he was a felon, and so we went over there, and he ended up shooting this person. He shot him in the hand, thankfully. I mean, he didn't kill him, but he shot him, and I was around that, dude, and I mean, I didn't have any part of it, you know. I just drove him there. But it was like, I got locked up for that. They sent me to ISF for.
I've been there.
Yeah, they sent me to ISF, dude. I spent 90 days in county waiting, and then 90 days in ISF, so 180 days, half a year, 6 months, man. And you know.
Did you go to the one out in Henderson?
Yeah.
Fuck that place. What year was this?
This was 2020.
Oh, never mind.
22.
I went in 2021.
No, 2020, because yeah, it was probably 2019, 2020, somewhere in there.
You remember Click Clack, the officer?
Mm-hmm.
He used to walk around. He'd have you'd hear his handcuffs going click clack. That's what they called him. Fucking hated this guy, dude. I told him I wanted to fight him, dude. And he's like, "You want to fight?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Come in this closet." I'm like, "No."
Hell no. You're going to beat my ass in that closet.
They expect me to say, "Yeah, motherfucker."
Nope. I ain't coming in that fucking closet. No.
I wanted to, though, bro. He was an asshole, dude. Fuck you still to this day.
Fuck you, Click Clack. But yeah, dude, so I did that time in there, and then I got out of there. And
I'm a firm believer that place, like, takes your brain, puts it on a platter, and they're like, I feel like that's what they do at ISF.
yeah,
They make you come up with your triggers.
yeah,
They make you fucking do things that you would never do.
yeah, yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
They make you feel what... They come up for the root cause analysis
That's
of
right.
why you're a fuck up.
Yeah.
It saved me.
Yeah, I believe that. It's not a bad place. It's not a bad place.
It's CDC mandated. That sucks.
Yeah.
When you go on lockdown, that sucks. I mean...
But it's not a bad place. I mean,
it's not.
It's really not.
There's
man.
bad people. There's just not a bad place.
Yeah,
I promise.
absolutely.
Yeah. They had a nice little rec yard, you know. I mean, it wasn't bad. The food wasn't terrible. It was beans, but...
Yeah, I mean, the food wasn't that bad. It's not as bad as Orange County.
Oh, God, them brick pads.
Oh, my God,
Our
bro.
brick pads.
Orange County's food is terrible.
God, man, get your shit together. Look,
Yeah.
my buddy Sheriff Mooney's still the sheriff. Like, do something.
Come on, Sheriff. Let's get some better food in there.
Before you get out of office,
Yeah.
at least you give him a gourmet meal, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but so when I got out of ISF, actually, while I was in ISF, let me clarify this. So when I was in ISF, my son's mother decided that she was going to leave me. And
It's always there. It's always going to happen there.
well, it's hurtful. Like when you're locked up and you're incarcerated or you're anything like that, and you have this person that you talk to, or that's a big part of your life. Like that's your lifeline to the outside.
Yeah.
And I was pretty upset. I'm gonna be honest. It hurt me a little bit. It really did. And it hurt me pretty good. But when I got out, I was clean. I was sober.
Probably felt the best that you've ever felt.
And my mom helped get me a place, my own place, and and I got to see my son every once in a while, and he'd come over on weekends or whatever, every other weekend or what have you, and it was good. It was good. We had our own little thing going, and like I said, and I was sober. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I had a buddy who came over, and he was like, "Hey dude, can I roll this bowl in here? Can I hit this pipe?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, bro. I don't give a fuck." He's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't care, bro." I was like, "I'm not gonna want to do it." And then I was like, "Fuck it, bro. Let me hit that motherfucker." He was like, "Are you sure, dude?" I was like, "Yeah, bro. I can hit it one time. I'll be all right." And that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case. It sent me back down that path of addiction. And it was probably earlier than that. It was probably like 2017, 26, 27, 2018, something
What
like
dorm?
that.
What dorm was you in inside of ISF? I was in D7.
I don't remember, bro.
Yeah.
I really don't. So it sent me back off in that whirlwind of addiction. And then I ended up getting back with my baby mama. I ended up getting back with her, and I shouldn't have. It was fucking toxic. It was terrible. I mean, when a relationship starts on drugs, and and I'm saying this to you people out there, it never ends well. Like if it's based around drugs, that's all it's ever going to be based around. It's not ever going to change. Even if the sobriety happens in that, it's hard to sustain a good relationship because so much of it was focused around drug use.
Yeah,
I
agree with you on that.
So it's hard to sustain that. And so I went back down that whirlwind. I got back with her, and then her and I started using together again, and that lasted for a while. And I think back, bro. I think back to some of the shitty things I did as a father, like as far as my son, and I'm in the bathroom smoking dope, and he's banging on the door crying for attention, bro, and I'm just like, give me a minute, and he's sitting there for fucking 2 or 3 hours, and he's just on the other side of the door just wanting my attention, and I wasn't, that pipe was getting my attention.
Yeah,
and
man, it sucks.
It did. It sucks. I think about that, and as a father, as a man, that hurts. Like I never went through that as a kid. I mean, yeah, my dad was an alcoholic and this and that, but I never had to seek out attention that way. Like we already talked about it. I seeked it out through other people, right?
Yeah.
So my son wanted it, and I wasn't giving it to him. But in October of 21, actually October 29th of 21, which was the day that I got clean and sober. It was actually the song "Save Me" by Jelly Roll. Believe it or not, I know it's kind of cliche. I had a buddy of mine who's also an addict. He was like, bro, he's like, listen to this song. And at this time, she had taken my son and left out of our house, and I was just there by myself with another tweaker, and who was staying as a roommate. And I listened to that song, man, and it just made me. I just cried, and I said, I've got to change something, because she took my son from me, and and I don't blame her. I didn't blame her at all. At all. I mean, you know, I would have done the same thing in the same situation, you know. I mean, I was no use to him. I didn't work. I mean, you know, I haven't even talked about my accident yet. Well, we can talk about that in a little bit, but I hadn't worked in years, dude, like fucking 5 years. So, you know, I was just a fucking lazy dopehead that didn't do shit, man.
Yeah.
I didn't give them any attention. I didn't give my son attention, her attention. It was bad. And so, like I said, October 29th, she took my son, and she left, and I made the decision that day that I had to make a change in my life.
Yeah.
And so I did. I left. I left there. I left out of the house. I packed my shit and I left. And now during this time, you know, there were. No, I'm not gonna say that. So during this time, you know, I left there and I was like, okay, I gotta get my shit together. Like, I hadn't worked in 5 years, you know what I mean? And I'm coming down off of dope and shit, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? And once again, my mom comes in for the rescue, and she gets me a hotel for a month. She got me a hotel room off of I-10 in Orange, and I stayed there. I stayed there for a month, and a buddy called me, and he was like, hey, dude. He's like, I know you ain't worked. He's like, but, you know, I can get you into come work with me, dude, selling solar. And I was like, okay. It's like, fuck it. Like, hell yeah, you know? And funny enough, man, I did that. And at the very beginning, because I mean, it was rusty, you know, I felt very subconscious about myself because of my accident. And we can talk about that real quick. So on October 16th of 2016, my son was 18 months old, and I was working at Cowboy Power Sports, and I was sober, and a customer and I were on a test drive, and he took a left turn, and we were in a Polaris Razor 570, and when he did, the machine laid over like this and pinned me between the roll cage and the concrete, and then it kind of slid. And so I was hurt pretty bad, very, very badly, and spent a lot of time in the hospital. I want to say I had roughly around 28 surgeries over the course of like 2 years. I had over 28 surgeries. My very first initial surgery, crazy enough, was 22 hours long.
Wow.
Can you imagine having to be a doctor and having to work on someone for 22 hours? 22 hours, bro. That's a whole day.
Yeah, they pretty much ripped your horns to shreds, it seems
Oh,
like.
it did, dude. So the
Does it still hurt sometimes?
Not really. No, I'm now like I'm a medical marijuana patient for the state of Texas, which is awesome, by the way. And so I use the tinctures and their gummies and things like that for neuropathy. You know, so I do have some neuropathy, nerve pain, things like that. But that stuff really helps, you know.
So the THC helps with that?
Oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah, it helps massively. I no longer really use it to get high anymore. I just kind of use it to relieve those things and
the pain,
the pains, right? You know,
yeah.
Which I do it all legally now. So it's kind of awesome. So, but yeah, so I got hurt really bad, dude, and yeah, and then all of that happened with me going to ISF and the addiction and blah 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 blah, right? So, so I started selling solar again, or selling solar, dude, and I had this insecurity about me, man, because as a salesperson, as someone who has spent so much of my life in front of people. When I talk to people, I make eye contact with them. I'm a very big eye contact guy, and that lets you know people are paying attention, you know. And so when I would look at people, I'd watch their eyes, and they would go from my eyes to my arm and back to my eyes. And for the longest, that made me feel insecure. And I was like, well, fuck, dude, this is all people see me as now. They don't see me as me anymore. They see me as my arm. My arm is what they see. And and that really, really fucked me up, dude, for many years,
Yeah.
you know, because I thought that that's all people saw, you know, and then when I started doing the solar thing, I kind of started getting my groove back, bro. I was like, okay, fuck yeah, dude, here we go. I was like, okay, and I was good at it, you know, like I was selling it, I was knocking on doors, I was doing my thing, talking to people, and I got really, really, really good at it. If I'm being honest, dude, it was phenomenal, and during that time period, that's when I started doing like the microdose thing, you know what I mean? And that's when I stopped all of those addictions, like complete addictions, you know, nicotine, tobacco, those are the same thing, I'm sorry. Nicotine, caffeine, you know, the cravings of any other drugs, all of that, like just, you know what I mean? Just was washed away from me, dude. And so, you know, and along that path of doing those things, of selling solar and doing those things, I did a lot of self-growth. You know, I looked at myself very heavily, very hard, and I was like, you know, what am I doing wrong? Like, what is going on? And then February of, not last year, but the year before, so 22, right? February of 22, I got custody of my son. That was a very big pivotal point in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I took him out of, funny enough, the same situation. You know, not saying anything bad about anybody or anything. You know, as an addict, I would do no such thing. You know.
Yeah.
And I just kind of chose to get sober first, you know, and so I ended up getting custody of my son, and now I've had custody of him now for, I guess, this upcoming Tuesday would be 2 years now. So
Yeah.
and so and that's kind of a cool thing, you know. We kind of have our thing, and one thing that I really appreciate about it is that, like, he doesn't have to seek my attention anymore. Like
He's got
it. You know what I mean? There's no more locked doors in our house. Like he knows that he can go through any door at any time, and that he's not going to be kept out
or you're not he's not bothering you or anything like that. Yeah.
You know, my son's he's a straight A student now, dude. Like before I had custody of him, dude, like you know, when, you know, he had addicts as parents, so we didn't do what we were supposed to be doing. You know, he got held back one year. He failed. He had truancy filed on him 2 years in a row, dude. I mean, he didn't have
stability.
He didn't have stability, bro. You know, and so now, as a single dad, I make it my point to ensure that, you know, we have a routine, we have consistency in life. We make sure that, you know, that things are going the way they need to be.
And making good memories and stuff like
Oh,
that.
dude, you want to talk about a cool memory? Yeah, so look, check this out. So I'm a hard rock, heavy metal fan, okay?
I know. I've looked at your social media.
Okay, it's my shit.
I just downloaded a song. You'd be proud of me.
What song?
It's called Brutality.
Okay.
By
who?
I want to play it for you real quick. I don't know. I'm going to play it for you.
Who's it by?
It's, hold on one
I
second.
mean, if it's called Brutality, it's probably going to be heavy as fuck.
Bro, it's dope, dude. I hope... Look, this song doesn't belong to me. But, hold on. I love it, though, dude. I just... Let me see right here.
Hell yeah. Who sings it?
It's actually Motionless and White.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Motionless and White's sick, man. Shout out to Chris Motionless. Dude, they're all good.
Dude, it's like, what, dude? It comes on. And Rhea Ripley, the wrestler, That's her song when she comes out.
Oh, badass.
And when you hear it, dude, you're like, oh, dude, you just want to fucking maybe go punch a kangaroo or something, dude.
I don't know about punching a kangaroo, bro. Like,
they'll fight
I mean,
back,
you
dude.
can punch a kangaroo, and I'll watch. I'll stay on the sideline, bro.
Those are the funniest videos. You see them
Dude,
putting kangaroos.
Kangaroos
posted.
will fuck you up,
Bro,
bro.
but it makes me want to. I don't know why, dude.
I mean, I don't want to.
I'll walk through a fucking brick wall if I listen to that song, dude. All I need is the first verse. I'll just keep replaying the first one. And you're like, boom!
Yeah, it breaks down, bro.
But anyhow, the memory.
That's the beautiful thing about music like that, man. It's what releases a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, like I go to a lot of concerts, and it's actually funny. A lot of my customers, they ask me, they're like, Chase, how do you go to all these concerts? Like, I think this year alone, I've been to like 8.
Here's a special shout out to Campbell's Detailing. They're out of Vidor, Texas, located over behind Sonic. They are a wonderful detail shop. Tyler Campbell is one of my best friends. His wife, Alicia, well, not a wife, girlfriend, but they should be married at this point. Just saying. They're lovebirds, baby, but they do the best detailing I've ever seen in my life. First time that I went over to Tyler's, I asked him, I said, what made you start a detailing company? He said, because I did the same thing as everybody else does. I went to a detail shop. I got the truck back. I was not happy with it. So I started my own so I could start making people happy about their own vehicles. A man that brings pride and passion into his work is a man that you need to lean on. He is a wonderful dude. I think they have won 3 years in a row the Orange Award for Best Services. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. And most of the time, if you go up there and you tell them that you talked to me, he gives you like $10 off, I believe. I'm not for sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think he does. But he's a wonderful dude. They take care of your vehicle. I remember the first time I brought one of my brand new trucks to him. It had gotten a little dirt on it, a little bit of scratches. I said, man, I want this thing to look exactly the way it did when it came out of the showroom floor. And when I went and picked up that truck, it was so slick I could have freaking slipped on it, baby. It was amazing. So please, I'll go to Vidor, Texas, and hit up Campbell's Detailing. I'll have their logo and all their information planted on the screen, and give them a try. Also, Cloyd's Lawn Services, Brandon Cloyd. He comes to my house every week, and he does an amazing job. And when I say it's an amazing job, it's an amazing job. He trims. He does good weed eating. He does good lawn care. He comes in with a zero turn. Man, I'd almost let him give me a haircut with that thing. You know what I mean? So if you would, just give him a shout. I'll also throw his logo in there with it. Just give this man a try. I promise you, it's nothing but amazing services. So appreciate you guys.
So they asked me, they're like, so how do you go to so many shows? I'm like, it's real simple, bro. I don't do drugs anymore. like all the money that I spent on dope and on drugs, it's like I now have the extra money to do something else that's a release, you know, like live music, going to shows. Have you ever been to a concert?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a release, bro. Like when you get to sit out there with 10,000, 15, 20, 30, 40, I mean, I think the biggest show I've ever been to is like 60,000 people.
Blow your mind.
And it's like it's a release, bro. You get to release all of that shit, you know, that we hold on to in the form of music, you know. It's beautiful, bro. Like, I mean, I just took
Have you seen Jelly Roll yet?
Yeah, of
How
course.
was that,
Twice,
dude?
actually. I saw him once in Mansfield, Ohio during incarceration like 3 years ago. And he had the sickest bass drops and bass lines I've ever heard in music, ever in a concert. And I've been to fucking probably 1,000 of them, maybe not that many, maybe like 800, but still a lot of fucking shows.
Yeah.
And then I saw him last year in Houston with 3-6 Mafia and
At the rodeo or whatever?
No, it was at the Woodlands. It was really good.
Okay.
It was good. So a cool story, right? About making memories together with your kids, right? So I took my son to see Five Finger Death Punch about 3 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see the post about it on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see it.
And so Five Finger Death Punch, Ivan Moody, that's the lead singer, if you don't know. He has a really soft place in his heart for a red handprint over your right eye. It's actually on all of their merchandise and everything like that, the red handprint. And so I told my son going into it, I'm like, look, now granted, this was my son's like 9th concert, okay? And I kind of had to bribe him, okay? I'm just Just letting you guys know, bribing does work for kids. So I was like, look, dude, because look, I spent a lot of money on these tickets, okay, because they were front row pit tickets. So it was like his ninth show, but it was the first time to ever be in the pit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, oh, excuse me. I was like, look, dude, all right, if you're good, all right, don't give me no shit, you're good. I was like, I'll take you to Walmart and get you a toy. He was like, for real? I was like, yeah, dude. He was like, okay. So a little more on that. So like halfway through the show, I'm taking him to the bathroom, and he's like, Dad. I'm like, what? He's like, how am I doing? How am I doing on a scale of 1 to 10? And I'm like, I don't know, dude, like a 6 or 7. He's like, 6 or 7? Why? I'm like, you've been a little bit whiny. He's like, I'll do better, I promise. I was like, okay, dude.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever, dude. So anyway, so we're at this show, and we're in the pit, all right, front row of the pit, and Ivan Moody, Five Fingers on stage, and Ivan Moody is walking down the front of the row off the stage, and he's looking at everyone in the front row. And when he sees my son, he like takes a look and then comes back and glances at him and stares at him. And then he like bends down to his level, and he rips a necklace off of his side and he gives it to him. And then he rips one off of his other side and hands it to my nephew. And we were like, fuck yeah, dude, that was badass. You know, everyone's cheering for him, and it was so cool, right? So the next song is about to start, and it's their song called Champagne. And Ivan's talking to the kids, to the boys, and he's like, you boys look a little squished down there. He goes, how would y'all like the best seat in the house? And he gets off the microphone and he bends down to their level. He's like, do y'all want to come on stage?
Your son?
Yes. And my boy's just like, yeah, you know. Now I'd already prepared him for this, okay? Like I've been to multiple Five Finger shows, and I know that Ivan Moody has a soft place for the kids, and I know that he likes to bring kids on stage, especially kids with the fucking handprint. So,
did your son put the handprint?
Oh yeah, we were all handprinted up, and so it was the plan. The plan was that he was going to get to go on stage. You know, that was the goal. That was the plan. And then it happened, right? And so they pulled the boys over the railing and put them on the stage, and then Ivan's like, he's like, where are their fucking parents? He's like, I ain't taking care of your fucking kids, dude. Y'all get the fuck up here. And so me and my sister-in-law, we got to go on stage, and we got to finish the rest of the set on the top behind the stage, like where like the camera guy would be.
Yeah.
And then they put his chairs on the side for like the last 3 or 4 songs. Oh. Yeah, dude. So that was amazing, dude. Like
he'll never forget that.
He'll never forget that, bro. And I got to share that with my son, and as someone who's avid into that music, who loves that music, it was something I've never done at 37.
It's like a burning bush experience.
It was, dude. You know, like my mom took me to my very first concert at 15 years old. It was like Three Doors Down, Puddle of Mud, and Nickelback. Absolute fucking phenomenal.
In Beaumont at the amphitheater?
No, it was in Houston at the Woodlands. And it was amazing, and it's what changed my life, and it made me know that like that I loved it. I loved that live music, that feeling, that energy, the buzz, you know, that you get from the feeling of everyone singing and being there for the same purpose and same reason. It was
worship almost.
It is, dude. It really is. And so we got to share that together, dude. Look, check this out, dude. Okay, I mean, I've been to a lot of concerts, all right, and I've walked away with a guitar pick or two. Dude, my son got 8 guitar picks, all right, 8 guitar picks. He got a set list from Five Finger Death Punch.
A necklace.
He got a necklace from Ivan handed to him. He got a little $5 bill that says Five Finger Death Punch on it, and it's a $5 bill. Which was really cool. And then he got one of Ivan Moody's sweaters that he was wearing during the set. Yeah, dude. Like, can you imagine being 9 years old making out like that? Like making out like a bandit, bro. Like, I was jealous. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. You know. He was so happy, dude. He was like, Dad, that was absolutely awesome. And then I pretty much have spoiled him now because he's like, He's like, Dad, I don't ever want to be out there in the lawn, like way back there anymore. He's like, this is where I want to be. I was like, fuck yeah, I know you do. Like, this is where everybody wants to be. Yeah, it only costs about like 10 times as much. So you know what I mean?
For that experience,
but
that was
for that experience, dude, it was
there's
no
price you can put on that.
There was no price, dude. Like I mean, how many people in their life get to go on stage with one of their favorite musicians?
Yeah.
You know,
my first concert was in 2001. It was the Rock the Mic concert in Beaumont. It was the Ford Park.
I think I meant to that.
It was the Ford Pavilion, and who opened was Busta Rhymes, Sean Paul.
No, I didn't go to that.
It was Busta Rhymes, Sean Paul, Fabulous.
Oh wow.
50 Cent, Jay-Z.
Oh my lord.
My first concert.
Wow.
It's whenever 50 Cent just dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. He was the reason I was there.
Yeah,
Obi Trice came on
that's
stage.
a fucking lineup, bro.
Dude, and we got pretty close seats, bro. And like, I can just remember, and this is one of those moments, I can just remember somebody on stage saying to my mom, this kid knows every word to every song. Because I was singing everything, dude. Because you got to think, it was like In the Club, PIMP.
How old were you?
2001 is 2024. I was probably 12.
My boy's 12 years old out there singing because I'm a motherfucker PIMP.
Yeah, dude. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm fucking just like, oh, bro, you can find me in the club. I'm telling you, my mom let me cut loose, dude. Because my mom was an addict back then, too. So it was like, she just let me ride it out. They gave me a big ass banner that said Rock the Mic on it, dude.
Badass.
It was dope. And I remember thinking, man, I don't want to fucking see Jay-Z, dude. Like, 50, just stay on stage. And I can remember people screaming that, 50, just stay on stage. Him and Jay-Z have a beef.
Yeah.
So 50 was going to get charged like $100,000 for every minute he stayed on stage afterwards. And he told the crowd that. And I guess Jay-Z was getting pissed in the back. Like, he needs to get the fuck off stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
I'm sure.
Jay-Z with that big old fucking ugly face. But 50's like, they told 50, they came out there like, hey, Jay says you need to get off stage. 50 looks at him and he says, tell him to come out here and tell me to get off stage.
Damn.
50 went for like an hour after that, bro.
No way.
I'm talking about just fucking going, bro.
No way.
I thought Eminem was going to come out. I really did, because it was just so much. And it was beautiful, dude. It was the best concert I'd ever went to. And then, of course, I went and seen Three Doors Down and Korn, ZZ Top. You know, they used to. Because one of my best friends, Josh DeRoe, and he's actually in a band now. Dude, they're fucking good, bro. I can't remember exactly what their names were, but I'll show it to you before you leave. His brother, you might remember this band. You remember a band named Known Habit? Tony Ramos.
I do remember Tony Ramos.
Tony Ramos was a G, dude.
Yeah.
He's still a fucking badass dude. That's his brother.
Yeah. Okay.
His brother's probably one of the best guitar players you'll ever see, like in person, as somebody you just know, right?
I think he had a band with Caleb Lumpkin back in the day, like back in high school.
It was probably Known Habit. They opened at the Dog Jam.
It might have been.
Bro, they had this.
They need to bring
before
Dog Jam back though, bro.
Oh God, why don't they? I remember that Known Habit. Josh turned me on it. They had a song. It was called "Boobies Bouncing Around."
Oh,
it was just like, oh man, dude, it was just such a good memory. And I remember one time they had a jam room, dude, which was Tony's room. Me and Josh are young, bro. And Josh was amazing at guitar from a young age, dude, and still is. I'm gonna show you. But they were so good, bro. They just had their first show. I'll invite you to one with me to go see him. He sends me all of his stuff.
What's the name of the new band?
Oh man, hold on one second. Let me look. And I'm just telling you, dude, he's so good, bro. It'll blow your mind. And his name's Josh DeRoe, and he's just such.
There's a lot of good musicians out there, bro, that just.
Until morning, like morning though, not like good morning.
Like MOURNING.
Like you can see, this is him.
It's got like a real classic southern rock feel. Oh, dude, he's good.
Bro,
Yeah.
that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, dude. If you go see him, bro, you should definitely let me know.
And he's always had that shit-eating grin on his face the whole time he's playing, too. Like, yeah.
That's because he's loving it, bro.
It makes him happy.
Of course.
Dude.
Most people who do music, bro, it's their release. You know,
Yeah.
the release for the people seeing it is the singing and the feeling of the music. But for them, it's the playing of the music.
He taught me how to play guitar.
Oh,
I'm not well. I still know like the normal shit that I learned when I met him. But he I remember when me and him was in his brother's room. His brother was a senior. We were probably 7th grade or whatever. And his brother came home, dude, and we're in his brother's jam room just fucking just playing, just fucking around. So probably sounding terrible on my end, but his brother came in, dude. I'm not mad at you anymore, but I was mad.
Yeah, he was pissed,
dude,
bro.
he slapped the fuck out of me, bro. And I was like, I don't think I cried. I think I was really mad. And Josh was pissed, though. And we just left his room. But I understood, you know.
Did you touch his guitars? Is that what it was? You touched his fucking guitar.
We touched their guitars.
Yeah, that was the issue.
Yeah,
you fucking touched his guitar.
Touched his guitars,
yeah, that's
bro.
a big no-no.
Yeah. We were so young, though, dude, and and I never told anybody about that. Me and Josh kept that to the grave. Now it's out there, but
it's fucking out there now.
Yeah, but
everybody knows.
Tony was such a good dude, though, man. Like, and they played so well, and I was so happy to be a part of Josh's life to be able to see that, So yeah, those were key moments. But that was one of the concerts I went to, and then of course I hit Brantley Gilbert. And
I've never been to a country show, man.
I want to go see Morgan Wallen, dude.
I've never been.
I just feel like it's such a huge concert, dude, and there's so much to it, and I don't know, man. But I want to see Pearl Jam still to this day.
I mean, that would be amazing.
And I feel like we still can. It's just we got to do it as quick as possible, Alice in Chains probably would have been dope, dude.
I saw Alice in Chains back at Welcome to Rockville in 2012, 2013.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude, I love going to festivals. Festivals are amazing. Like,
yeah.
One of the coolest things that happened is it was so weird. Is that it was Shinedown, right? Shinedown.
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
And then they finished their set with Simple Man. All right, and then right after Shinedown, Leonard Skinner played.
Oh man!
And I'm gonna be honest, dude, Shinedown fucking murdered it, And Leonard Skinner, it was just a bunch of old dudes on stage. Just they had no energy. It was boring. I mean, and Alice in Chains. When I saw Alice in Chains that year, it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't bad. I definitely enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Leonard Skinner, which was surprising, because I grew up listening to Leonard Skinner.
I think we all did. Yeah.
And we all did. I mean, if you're from the South, it's like, yeah, you listen to Leonard Skinner, and I grew up listening to Alice in Chains, so that was kind of cool. But the final band was Limp Bizkit, and this concert took place in Jacksonville, Florida, which is Limp Bizkit's hometown, or Fred Durst's hometown.
Yeah.
And so I was watching Leonard Skinner, and I was in the front of Leonard Skinner, and the way that the festival was set up is that you have a main stage. There was only 2 stages. You had a main stage here, and you had a main stage here. And if you were in the front of this one, it's really fucking hard to get in the front of that one.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was at the back. It was like I want to say it was about 40,000 people there, and I thought to myself, I was like, how do I get to the front of this, right, without having to like push through everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, I was like, fuck it, bro, I'm going over, right? So I jumped up and I started crowd surfing, and it was the longest crowd surf I've ever done. I've done it a lot, okay? I mean, I've even crowd surfed crowd surfers, which is fucking phenomenal, like using people like fucking surfboards and shit. It was amazing. So I'm at the back of 40,000 people, bro, and I crowd surf all the way up to about 2 rows of people from the stage. And then I grab someone around the neck and just like pull myself down, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm in the shit. Like, I'm up there. I can see really well. We're all vibing and shit.
Yeah.
And when they started playing, I've never experienced anything like this. Everyone, now it's common at a big general admission type show that people crowd in, people push in, And so it was so tight and so fucking like compacted Like, I lifted my legs up off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay? And you were just part of the fucking wave. Whenever people moved, you went with them. If they went forward, you went forward. If they went backwards, you went backwards. You had no control because you were just part of the wave of people. It was phenomenal, bro. Like, it was one of the coolest things I'd ever done at a show. I mean, now it obviously doesn't touch going on stage at 5 feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was fucking amazing, bro.
Yeah, man. I love concerts as well, dude. Anyways, sorry the lights went out, guys. My daughter turned off the lights. That's what children do.
Yeah, kids, man. They're something special about them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I love them, though.
this has been a great episode, though, man. We've talked about some very good stuff. I hope it gets out there in the way that I think it will.
I hope so, man. I really do. I hope that, you know, that people watching this, you know, hopefully find some addicts and find some people who are dealing with mental illnesses or depression and, you know, and all that shit, man. Any of that shit. If I promise you, if I can get through that and I can be the man that I am right now, anybody can, you know. Now granted, I mean, you know, I do give a lot of that over to the mushrooms, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I give a lot of that to that. But even taking that as medicine, that it doesn't fix it. You know, it still takes self-work. It still takes that looking inside yourself and so, you know, if you are watching this and you are struggling with addiction and, you know, and you need help, you know, it's okay to ask for it. And for the people who are watching this and they have addicts in their lives, you know, you can't make anyone get well. You can't make anyone decide to want to get sober. It's a decision that they have to be ready to make. You know, my son's mom wanted me to be sober for a long time. My family wanted me to be sober for a long time, but it wasn't until I was like, I have to change something. I can't keep living this way. Until that happens, you know, people aren't ready.
Yeah.
You know, and also, I mean, if you've never been to my smoke shop and you're struggling and you can't afford,
Vitrum.
You can't afford a therapist, you can't afford, you know, you're scared, you don't know who else to talk to, come find me, man. I'm right here in Bridge City, right next to Tequila's, across the street from Flippers, Skin Flicks. Like, come find me, come talk to me. It's a very free space. You can tell me anything you want to tell me, and it's, you know, it's going to stay between us, you know. I know I spoke about that guy earlier, but obviously, you know, I didn't use any names and never would. So I believe in anonymity. Fuck, I hate that word. Anonymity and anonymity.
Something like that. Anonymous?
No, it's not anonymous. It's anonymity. Fuck me, bro. I used to be able to say this word so good. It's like a big part of AA. One of their things is basically like that you don't. It's private. It's, you know, what's going on in your life is your life, and I won't share that with people. You know, and if I can help you, come see me, man. I'm definitely willing to talk to you, just like you're talking to me.
Yeah.
You know, and it might not be as a private of setting, but you know, come holler at me, man. Let's get you through whatever you're going through, because the other side of all of that is
bliss. Man.
It's bliss, man. Like, you know, it's bliss, bro. I love life. I love everything about my life, and you know, even the bad things that happen in life, you know, I don't let it affect me. I don't let it bring me to a place of darkness anymore. You know, back in the day, dude, when bad things happen, I would shut down, or I would withdraw, or I would, you know, not be who I am. And now I refuse to have a bad day. You know,
it's a good way to live, man.
It is, dude, and it's a hard mindset to get. But the thing is that once you get that mindset, you don't ever want to let it go. You know what I mean? Once you figure out how to achieve that mindset of not having bad days, not letting those bad things really bring you down, you know, it's an amazing thing. You know, like I'm be honest, dude. Like I wake up every morning and I genuinely feel happy.
Yeah.
You know, life's a struggle. I'm going through a lot now, and it's like it's a struggle, but it's like
You got people rooting for you.
I do, bro. I believe everything's gonna work out for the positive. You know, and so, like I said, I'm always available. I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Come holler at me if you ever need any of that. Some help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing for you, bro.
Always, man.
You know what I mean? Which, I mean, you can call me, but
Yeah. Honestly, dude, I think we'll leave it at that, man.
Cool.
I think that was a good episode. I think me and you can dive into my own personal stuff later.
Okay.
But just because I know you got stuff to do, but we'll cut out this part of it. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not in a hurry, though. I'm just saying.
If you want to ask some stuff, you can, man. But,
I mean, do you want to talk about yourself?
Not really.
Not really? I mean, you don't have to. It's up
I
to
mean,
you.
it is good.
It's good to talk about things, though.
Yeah, it is. I guess we can talk. What you want to know?
Well, let's see. I'd like to know a little bit more about, personally, what was affecting you that day when you came into the smoke shop a while back, and you said the day that I helped you, and you said that I was kind of put there, and you said you had some thoughts.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
what was going on? What happened?
So, my brother, right? This was just one of the 3 things that kind of triggered. My brother had found out, the people that we were working for at the time had found out that we were working together, and we weren't supposed to work in the same facility as each other. He was a different department or whatever, but I guess they questioned him, and he pretty much was like acted like I wasn't his brother.
Okay.
Right? But that's one of them things where, like you said, this is the attention from your brother. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
So it's my big brother. He's supposed to protect me. He's supposed to protect, to make sure that everybody knows he's got my back at all times. And right there, I felt like he didn't. But I never try to, like, when somebody upsets me, I do bury it and it builds. But I always try to see what I'm doing wrong. Right, and what I did wrong in that situation was when he told me that, I should have told him it made me unhappy. It made me feel this way, but now I'm to the point where I need to be like, man, I'm sorry I held this in.
Why do you feel like it made you feel that way? Because in reality, I mean, he was protecting you. He was protecting both of you.
Well,
by
I had already been gone.
Oh, you weren't there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
he was protecting himself then.
yes,
Okay.
which it seems like that's what happens a lot. But
I mean, if you were to put yourself in his shoes, okay.
I would have told him to load my fucking box, or
Yeah.
I'll load it myself.
Would you?
It's just who I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna deny somebody I love. Period.
But could you put yourself in his position?
Yeah.
And understand why he said what he said?
I did.
You
I
know?
guess, but I can't expect for people to be like what I would do, right?
Never.
So, and that's because we're not me, right?
Nope.
So, it hurt me. It still kind of hurts, and I talked to him, and he doesn't know. He'll probably know if he watches this now, but
Well, I hope he does.
because I love my brother, dude.
Of course.
My brother was just there
Yeah. When other people weren't.
when nobody was.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was just.
I could see how that could kind of hurt, man. Like,
Yeah.
you felt betrayed maybe a little bit. Like,
I think I did.
yeah, betrayal. But
It made me feel like I wasn't good enough.
yeah, but
And-
that's that's not the case, yeah.
I don't know.
You haven't talked to him?
Not about it.
Okay, so I think you should.
I think I should too.
I think you should, because this is the thing. Remember what I was talking about earlier? Is that inner self work, right?
Yeah.
If that's part of it, bro, is if something bothers you, you have to talk about it. You have to release that.
I know.
Because when you hold on to it, it becomes weight.
It
And
does.
you have enough weight in your life. You have 2 kids and a wife, bro.
Yeah.
You have this house. You have a job. You have enough weight. Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't. You can't
And,
let.
and you know, now that you say that, since it was that too. It was, I'd gotten to a point where we were living paycheck to paycheck. Things were really hard at the time. This wasn't that long ago. And I always feel like everybody that I have in my life always kind of depends. Like, oh, dude, if I ask Mike, he's gonna take care of it. You know what I mean? And like, and it comes with a very big variety of people, right? Like they always know that, like, if I see something wrong going on, I'm going to fix it. But, dude, I was tired. I was just mentally exhausted. I was like, man, just where's the help?
Yeah.
Like, where's the help outside of this? My wife does an amazing job taking care of my kids. It has nothing to do with my home life. But it's still, like I told my wife that day, I wanted her to, I just needed her to tell me, like, she's proud of me. Like, she knows I'm strong. Like, sorry that you're having to pick up all this weight. And she did.
Absolutely. As she should. I mean.
And then my mom, bro. I love my mom to death. And this is no shade towards my mother, but she hasn't had a chance to get a relationship with my kids.
That sucks.
It hurts.
It does.
Because I want my kids to have everything that I didn't have.
Of course.
So, but at the same time, I got to quit expecting those things. I didn't have it as a kid. Why are they going to have it from them? So
I think that's something that we all like want for our kids, though, right? I mean, like you look at how you were raised, and you're like, you know, I want to do better. I mean, I know, for instance, in my situation, I don't want my son to grow up to be a drug addict.
No.
I need to break the cycle. I have to break the cycle, and all I can do is everything that I can do, and that's in my power to do that. And as far as like things, like what you said, if you grew up poor, you grow up fast, or what have you, if you can't provide those things, that's okay. If you can't give them more than what that you have,
they have more than I
guarantee you they do. There's not one kid that I can think of nowadays that doesn't have more than what we had as kids. I mean, and we always want more for our kids. We always do, and honestly, Drew, I think you do pretty well for them. I mean,
Thank you,
your kids love you to death, bro. I mean, I saw it when I walked in the door today. They love you to death, bro. And
I can get emotional talking about my kids because it was like, I don't like to yell at them. There's so much past trauma.
Of course.
Like, how old's your son?
He's 9.
I was 9 when I was first exposed to something that I shouldn't have been exposed to, and I'll say it. I was abused
Physically?
Yeah. And the doctors made me come in and do a test. They made me look at these pictures. What does this remind you of? They made me, psychological test.
Sure.
Came to the determination that I was molested by somebody.
Damn it.
But I think I know who it was.
But you're not sure.
But it's something. There's something in your
block.
brain that shuts it off to make you forget that it even happened. But it happened. And I know it was a young age, because what had happened to me, I enjoyed later on in life from other people.
Of course.
And it became more of like an addiction to me, which is weird as fuck, right? But like for a woman to do those things to me is what aroused me the most.
Yep.
Because it happened to me so young.
Yeah.
And then
it's like it becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
a lot of people have no fucking idea. This is the first time I've ever talked about it. So I'm comfortable enough to talk to you about it. And I feel like it needs to be heard, because also this needs to be a story for somebody else.
Absolutely.
At 9, my stepmother and my thought that my mom and my dad had gotten back together, and we was living on Hurley and Beaumont over Nords Tram Road, and she threw toilet paper inside of our bedroom windows on fire, me and my brother. And she tried to kill me and my brother.
Wow.
She put trash cans in front of all the doors on fire to where we couldn't get out. And that was a really traumatic experience, dude. At a young age, thinking, why is this all happening to me? And I wet the bed till I was probably 16.
Makes sense.
Nightmares. They put me on a medication called imipramine. I don't know what it did, but it did something to make me not piss myself at night.
That's good. Do you still piss yourself now?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
I shit myself every now and then.
Yeah,
but
it's a guy thing.
It's like I'm trying not to, but it happens. And then, dude, that's fucked up too, though. And then shortly after that, my stepdad was killed. My stepdad was murdered. And my mom was married as most as you can get married in the state of Texas. And 7 times. And so,
Really?
So there were 7 men. She's with the 7th one now, and he's good. But there was boyfriends, but Chris was the one. Chris was my stepdad that I love Billy now. He's amazing, but Chris was amazing too. One of the 7 that I really liked. And then
what did he get murdered for? Do you know?
He was a crackhead.
Yep. Drugs.
Yeah,
Okay.
they killed him for like a $20 rock, from what I understand. Never found the people that did. They threw him in the Natchez River, over there by the saltwater barriers. They found, I guess they found him, and they brought home. I was probably 11, maybe 10. They brought home a manila envelope. They opened it for us to see who it was. The fish had eat the eyes out of his head.
Wow.
And I'm seeing all this.
It's rough
right?
to see it at a young age.
So, like, my wife the other day was showing me something came on TV, and they were talking about like Tinker Toys, and they were talking about like the logs, the Landon logs or whatever. Lincoln logs, and like those are things I don't know, right? I didn't have a childhood where it was fucking toys.
Yeah.
You know, it was trauma.
It's trauma.
And so my nanny really kind of took it. I don't think she took custody, but I was under her care forever. Sure. So when I was 15, I started. I was a saint, bro. When I tell you I was a saint, I went to Awanas. I was in church. 15, I decided to smoke pot. Well, I really liked it.
Yeah, you did.
And my mom had smoked pot my whole life, so like, and I was always around it, so I never thought I would do it. I was just like, no, I see my mom smoking, and I don't know what it does, but I just never thought I would do it. Sure enough, smoked out of a Tang bottle with a buddy of mine named Ethan, and I got stoned, and I loved it, right? And then like after that, it was like, okay, cocaine, ecstasy, and those kind of was it for me. Acid became a part of my life later on, but it was just. And then 17 came, and 17 years old is it's a number that I see today. If I see 17, it makes me sick to my stomach. I mean, you see that? Even just saying it.
What happened?
I lost a best friend in a car accident. Okay. I had lost a baby with a girl that I thought was the one. Obviously, at a young age, you don't know what the one is. No. But we were together for so long. We had a baby. There was a miscarriage.
Sorry about that.
It sucked. And then my nanny died.
Wow.
Which was
who took care of you?
Rock.
Yeah.
And I never got to really show her that I was capable, you know. And like she was dying in the hospital bed, bro. And I'm just like, I'm going. She's in ICU, dude, and she's just like. You can see that she's just ready to go.
Of course.
And I would go in there and ask her for money still to feed my addiction. And, you know.
Do you resent that time? Do you think that, do you hold a resentment about the way you were at that time? Like, do you feel ashamed?
Yeah.
Do you still carry that with you today?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, in my honest opinion, you know,
I have a hard time dealing with grief.
You can't blame yourself for that, though. You know, like when you're deep off in your addiction, bro. When you're deep off in an addiction, you can't blame yourself for the person that you are and the things that you've done. I mean, yes, you were part of them. Yes, you did them, but it's not the real you. It's not who you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's that altered form of you. So, you know, don't be so hard on yourself. You know, I'm sure she knew you loved her, and I'm sure, you know, I'm sure that there was a lot of love between you two. But, you know, and at this stage in your life, you know.
I just wish that I would have just, like, I was so oblivious. She's going to come out of this, dude. You know, like, there's no way Nanny's dying, right? Like, and there's this video, and maybe we'll clip it on. And she's up in the bed, and they had just did their first rounds of chemo, and she's my sixth stepdad, I believe. His name was Billy too, and he was like, "Look, Mikey, it's Nanny. She's up," and she sticks out her tongue, and she's like, you know, and it's just like, dude, it just
it tugs at the heartstrings,
you know, and I just wish she was here.
I understand that.
And then, you know, when like Derek hung himself, it was just like.
Who was Derek?
He was my cousin, the first one.
The cousin that you were talking about earlier.
And it just hurt. Like all of it just hurts, you know. And like that day that you're talking about specifically, I was just so depressed, and I was like, and so when all these things have happened, and my wife and I are so happy together. But I start questioning her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, everything else is wrong. Everything leaves, everything dies,
Mm-hmm.
everything falls apart.
Why is she still here?
Why is she still single? So I'll start texting her, are you unhappy? Why? Why would I ask you that? I know you're happy. Why am I asking? But I have to explain to her that that's just the way that my brain is wired.
It's the trauma in your brain, bro.
And it makes me want to depart, right? And not leave her, but depart away from any sort of substance that makes me emotional.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm so grateful to be sober today. I mean, I haven't, the last time that, my last drug to do regularly was weed. So I smoked that until like 2017, and then I just quit, and I never did it again.
Badass.
And I don't have anything against it. I don't have anything against it. It's just like, I know what it does to me, and it's not a good thing.
Yep.
It's because I'm an abuser. Like I'll start smoking, and then I'm like, okay, well, now I'm smoking so much, I should probably just go get a QP.
Yep.
And now I got a QP. I'm gonna get rid of half of it. I'm gonna have free weed. It's in so it goes into this cycle. Yeah, and I still to this day, dude. I think to myself, I'm like, I know guys that do it still, like within life, right? That have 30, 40 pounds of marijuana, like on disposed, you know, and not anybody immediate, but I just know of people that do. And sometimes in the back of my head, I think like, man, when I was living paycheck to paycheck, like, what if I just went and got 10 pounds and like didn't touch it, just got it moved from here to here, and I get my money, and then and then that's sad for me to go back to that mind frame, and that's when I got to check myself, right? Because it's like, dude, what the fuck are you even thinking? But it's the devil. I mean, Denzel Washington said it best: whenever you're at your highest, that's when the devil's coming for you. You know, so it's just like, yeah, man. And I almost started crying, saying all that stuff, but that's it, dude, really. But there's so much more, but it would take forever to say. But there was a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
A lot of trauma.
It sounds like you still haven't let a lot of it go.
That's why I see a therapist.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even though, you've been seeing this therapist now for quite a while.
20.
You know what I mean? And
26.
Maybe, and obviously he knows all these things. He probably knows everything, right?
He knows the darkest crevices of my soul, bro.
But the thing is that what is he telling you on how to release this stuff, on how to truly get over it? Because this is the thing, right? Is that, how old are you again?
32.
32. So you're 32 years old, and I told you I didn't let go of all of these things from my past until 2 years ago, 35. So, and I just had a epiphany, and I just had a change, and I was just like, I've got to stop holding on to those things and blaming those things and allowing those things from back then to control me.
Because that's what it's doing.
Because it controls you. It defines you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone's different. We're all different, and we all have to find the way to release that. But, honestly, you talking about it today, I think that it might help a little bit.
It will.
Because, that's a big step, bro. To being able to talk about your past openly, which is something I used to not ever do, but
well,
I'm not.
I just wanted to be, I think my main thing is, dude, I never felt like I deserved anything, and some days I still don't, and I want to feel seen, and I don't really need to be seen, but sometimes I feel like I do so much that I want to be seen that I need to feel like what I'm doing, the fruits of my labor are flourishing. And people like Tony tell me all the time, dude, you have no fucking clue what you do for people.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because he's one that I talk to.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I literally Tony's just goes in.
Yeah.
Because
he tells you like it is.
He does.
He's not Tony's not afraid.
No.
He's not afraid to hurt your feelings.
And he's very protective over me too. Yeah. So he's like, and he'll tell me that, dude. Like if I tell him something about something that like upset me from someone, he'll be like, "Well, where are they at?" Like, Tony, chill.
It's like, I'm gonna go kill him.
I'll go right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, just chill.
The motherfucker was telling me a story the other day at the smoke shop about his grandma and shit, bro. And I don't know if he ever told you, but he's a character, bro. Tony.
I love him, bro.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. But But dude, it's hard. It's hard to speak about our past.
It is.
It's hard to be open about that because, you know, like the thing with what happened to you, the assault on you.
Yeah.
You know, the reason you don't remember it is because you've blocked it out because it's a traumatic thing, and speaking about it will help you to get over that. Speaking about it and it helps you get over that. Like I'm gonna be honest, I feel firmer in my conviction of sobriety the more that I discuss and talk about my addiction, because I know what I've been through, and I know that I never want to go through that shit again.
No, dude.
Like I don't ever want that to be a part of my life again. I don't ever want my son to feel like he's not important. Like he's like
He is the important.
he's the fucking most important thing, bro. Like
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like I live my life now. I just literally I go to work. I mean, I get up in the morning. I get my son ready for school. You know, being a single dad, and then I go to work, and then I get off, and we do dinner and homework and bedtime, and then that's every single day, 5 days a week. You know, that's what my life consists of. And then on the weekends, you know, we'll go do things with, you know, my girlfriend and her kids or whatever, you know, and or him and I will go do things or whatever, you know. But it's like we could have never done that 3-4 years ago. You know what I mean? There was none of that back then, dude. It was just madness. It was mayhem.
It's just beautiful that you came out on the other side. So
it is, and it's an amazing thing. And I'm very, very proud of it. I'm very happy of it. And
well, I'm proud of you too.
thank you. I appreciate that, man. And honestly, I'm proud of you, bro.
Thanks, man.
You know what I mean? I think you're a phenomenal dad. You know what I mean? Like, you got 2 fucking beautiful kids down there, bro. They're like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over you. You know what I mean? You've got a lovely wife. You know?
She's amazing, ain't she?
You know, I mean, she is. She seems really awesome. You know,
She's so down to earth. Me and her are polar opposites, and like she just
Isn't that weird?
She's the yang to my yang.
Isn't that weird, bro?
Yeah.
Look, my girl's the same way.
She's so quiet, bro.
I promised her I wouldn't talk a whole lot about her.
Yeah.
So, but
she's like, I'm real like when I talk, I'm just like kind of like that, you know. And she's like, she talks with like.
Confidence,
right to me, and I'm just kind of like low talking. Like if I'm in the front seat, you're in the back. You ain't hearing
no,
nothing.
hearing shit. I'm
just you know. But dude, this was such a great episode. I'm thrilled to have had you on. It won't be the first. It won't be the last. Absolutely. It was the first, but it won't be the last.
Absolutely,
I
bro.
promise. So
Absolutely.
JoJo's gonna come through, do his editing, push some stuff out, and man, it's just like he said, Vitram, Bridge City.
Yeah, come holler at me, man.
Come see him, man.
Come see me or my girls, Haley and Nessa, man. Where they're amazing girls. They learn from the best. You know, I taught them very well. They are my.
And make sure every time you go in there, tell them that we need the octopus.
He needs the octopus on the table.
We just need it, dude.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's a work in progress.
I mean, I can get you with the guy that made it.
That one's just.
No, you want my octopus.
Something about that one.
You want that
Bring
one.
some sort of energy to me that makes me want to just kiss it.
Yeah, well, maybe you should kiss it. It's like, you know, it's like kissing a bald man's forehead, or you know, or kissing a baby.
Unless he's on P Diddy's list, I don't want it.
Fuck, bro, that's a crazy situation right there, bro. Like Diddy, dude.
It's
like,
just to be bad,
bro. That's a crazy situation, dude. Like,
did you just see what they said the other day about all that baby oil? It had like GHB in every bottle.
In the bottles, that's how he was drugging them. It was through the baby oil. But how the fuck was he getting baby oil on people? Like,
dude, they were having freak. It was called freak.
The freak offs, I know.
So he was rubbing it down, and they were absorbing it through their body. From what I understand.
Was this motherfucker wearing gloves? He had to have been.
He was tripping too.
Oh, that's wild, bro.
Because that's why he was able to double dose off in a man.
Bro, I saw this thing the other day about it, and it was like there have been over 150 confirmed victims.
Yeah,
over 150.
There's
a list, dude. Like, this lawyer was just going through it, and there was like 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds.
You know what's even crazier?
There's
video footage.
That's wild, dude. Like,
yeah, R.I.P. Diddy.
R.I.P. Diddy, bro. Like,
or R.A.I.H. Rest in hell.
Dude, that's crazy, man. Like, honestly though, dude, like, he's a sick person. Like that
Yeah,
shit's sick, bro. Like
it's power, bro. You got all the money in the world. You think you're invincible.
And then so you take advantage of kids like that, bro. It's just
don't fucking take advantage of kids. You're a piece of shit if you do, and I don't wish nothing good on you.
Not at all, dude.
No prayers your way, brother.
None.
But man, dude, I hope you guys enjoyed Chason.
Thank you very much for having me, bro.
So we'll have him on again. This was a wonderful episode. Definitely dive in with him at Vitrum. He is going to be an advocate for your happiness, and I can honestly say that. Just give it a try.
Sobriety.
Yeah, and your sobriety. I promise. Go talk to him. If you're struggling and you're out of drugs or something, and you just need your fix, go see him so he can help you get fixed and not worry about
That's right.
going to get that fix from somebody else. I'm telling you, there's a beautiful way. He is the beautiful way, and I honestly mean that. I don't speak highly about very many people at all. People suck these days, but I'm telling you, this guy is the truth, and that's all that matters. So thank you for coming on today.
Thank you
man.
very much, bro.
So
I really appreciate that.
No problem, buddy.
That really means a lot.
Yeah.
It really does.
All right, buddy.